Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
I can't believe it's Game 3 of the ALCS.
Game day.
I just need us all to pause for
Game
just
day.
a split second
go.
and realize that on this blessed day, October 15th, we're all either going about our workday, maybe driving into work, maybe we're at work, at the gym, at home, and all of us are just kind of thinking here at 10:01 a.m., dang, first pitch for ALCS Game 3 here in Seattle is coming up at 5:08 to be exact. I just need to pause and just for just a moment to begin the show today, reflect on the fact that I don't know about you guys, there are times when I am not quite sure how to process it.
Yeah, this is a great feeling. You know, you ever have a friend that's like introduces you like to a new restaurant or something like that? Like, oh, try this on the menu, this and that. So since, you know, my other squad has been here a few times, let me tell you how to approach this day. Just feel all your feels. All right? Feel them. Be nervous. Take your walks. Drink your coffee. Be distracted. You feel it, okay? Because there's only 4 squads left. And the baseball's playoff is the hardest playoff in our 4 major sports, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. We've seen NHL teams come back from 0-3. We've seen basketball teams come back from a 3-1. And to get in, it's the hardest. You play 162 of them things, and you get in. So yeah, it's hard to get to this point. So feel everything you want to feel, you're supposed to feel, and when it's time to play ball, you're going to be a nervous wreck. I'm
glad you mentioned how important those series leads are in other leagues. Teams that go up in MLB postseason history, 2-0 in a best-of-7 series, have gone on to win the series 84% of the time. That's where the Mariners are right now. Now, that doesn't mean that this thing is done. In fact, if you ask any one of these players any question that hints at them having some kind of advantage, I guarantee you they're going to be like, shut up, stop talking. We're not done here. We know that this can slip away. In fact, Mitch Garver was part of a team that nearly let it slip away with the Texans, with the Rangers.
Sound like me right now.
I know. Went on to obviously get to that and win that World Series. Teams that go up 3-0, which the Mariners have a chance to do tonight. Teams that go up 3-0 are almost guaranteed to advance. And when I say guaranteed, I mean they win the series in MLB history 99% of the time. It's so rare. It's happened just once. All of you know exactly what that is. 2004 ALCS, Red Sox stunned the Yankees. There's an entire Netflix series about it. It's happened 4 times in NHL history and never in NBA history.
No, I was in college when the Red Sox did that. That was fun to watch. They won 6-4, went into extras, 12. Game 5, won 5-4, went into extras, played 14, then won 4-2, and 10-3. It was a wrap. Yeah, we don't want none of that smoke. None of that smoke. It's all about just being where you are. What do they say? Be where my feet are. Okay, my feet right now are in Seattle waiting for this game. First pitch, what, 5-8?
Mine are floating in the air because I'm short. It's the most embarrassing thing about sitting in this chair.
Hey, you don't have a little stool underneath?
No, I have a little stool.
Okay,
sometimes I stretch out my legs and I just kind of rest them on it. Anyways, Bump, you were saying.
Be where you are. It's always cool to look at history, right? I started looking at the history of teams who have come back, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. No, that's not cool. I don't want this.
Yeah.
I don't want to experience it. So the Red Sox, and looked at the Warriors. Cavs were up 3-1. They come back and win. 2010 NHL, Philly came back down 0-3. 2014, the Kings came back in the quarterfinals, down 0-3, won 4 straight. Yeah, I want none of that smoke. But just let's focus on today and get this W.
Okay, well, speaking of let's focus on today, if we're going to start the show by talking about, wow, how crazy it is to be here, and secondly, here's how important it is to go up 3-0. Only once before has a team come back from that. It really, really sharpens the Mariners' odds to get to their first World Series. Let's talk about how they get that done tonight. We'll start by talking about a strength that they've been able to have throughout the postseason, that being their bullpen.
And right now, the biggest difference between the two teams, what I see, the Mariners' bullpen, and I was concerned about the Blue Jays' bullpen all season long, is far superior. Every button that Dan Wilson is pushing, it's working. And they're confident. And they made... I mean, if you go back to that Game 5 in Detroit, that was a game, if a pitcher, you cannot make a mistake. And that was 9 innings of just, you can't make
the bullpen's last 3 games, 19 innings, 1 run.
It's hard to beat that.
In 18 innings with no runs. Absolutely phenomenal. Shame on me for having some fear about this bullpen heading into a series. Shame on me for watching ALDS Game 4 going, oh, you should have added more at the deadline, which I still do believe. I still thought that they should do that, and I would have loved to see it, and I would have praised it when it happened. But these bullpen arms have been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bizzardo and Munoz have been just lights out.
Yeah, they have been. Bizzardo has been one of the more entertaining stories this year because I feel like actually the whole rotation, the whole bullpen, this team in general has been a funny story because there are at times where you don't believe. The only person you believed in throughout the whole season, I feel like, at least from my perspective, is Cal Raleigh, right? Cal has been the most consistent thing all year. Other than that, we've questioned Julio at times. Mm-hmm. We've questioned JP.
Everyone.
We've questioned Randy. Everybody, the bullpen, the rotation.
We've had a show for most of the 162 games they've played.
Yeah.
So we have to react the next day.
Yeah, we have to react, and we question. But throughout all that questioning, they developed something that has allowed them to handle these tough moments, man. When you go 15 innings and you pull that through, awesome. When you go to someone's house, you go to their house, you don't take off your shoes, you go right to the refrigerator.
You have to always ask.
You take their Kool-Aid, you eat all the snacks.
Disrespectful.
That's what these guys did in Toronto. So because they've had these ups and downs, they've been able to come together at the right time. And when we talk about any sport, any team, that's what it's about. Peaking at the right time, playing your best ball at the right time. And it might not be their best ball statistically, but it's their best ball when it comes to clutch moments.
God, when you were talking about just going into someone's house and heading straight to their fridge, I was like, the only person I do that to is when I go visit my mom at my parents' house in Vancouver. And then I thought, God, does anyone else, when you go to your parents' house, you open up the fridge and it's just like mustard? And you're like, what do you guys eat? What do you eat? There's just appetizers in here. Anyways, I digress. How did they get it done tonight? So we mentioned the bullpen continuing to keep that a strength. I'm going to throw out a hypothetical here, and feel free to join this conversation on the text line. What if the bullpen isn't stellar tonight? What if the Blue Jays bats do show up today? Vlad Guerrero Jr. had 3 home runs against the Yankees, 9 RBI against the Yankees, doesn't have a hit in 2 games in the ALCS so far. I don't think that continues through the entirety of the series. What if the Blue Jays offense is a little tougher today? And I don't think this is going to be, a ton of runs scored at T-Mobile. That's certainly not what we saw here so far. But do we see more balls in play? Do we see more runners on base? What needs to be the response for Seattle? What kind of game keeps this a Seattle win?
The same game they've been playing in the playoffs. Hit bombs, good strikes, or good pitching, excuse me. Passan said it last week or yesterday, I believe it was. He says, throw strikes, get ahead. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to be aggressive. And so far on the mound, these guys have been aggressive. Even when you get lit up for an inning and you go 27 pitches in Bryce Miller, you calm yourself down and you put together a great performance. Be who you've been. I don't think you need to change anything up. You get into a tight one. Obviously, every at bat is a bit more important, and you tend to press a little bit. But I haven't felt this team press that much. There are going to be times where batters are fooled and they swing at pitches they're not supposed to swing at. You just got to limit those. So be who you've been. Hit bombs, good pitching, solid defense.
Oh, you know what else I'll say here? Someone texted in, the 206 says, I can't afford to go, but please emphasize today to the listeners how important it is for the fans to bring it. John Morosi has spoken multiple times about how electric this park was during ALDS in general, but particularly Game 5. I mentioned it yesterday, but I listened to Baseball Tonight coming in on Monday. Buster Olney said, of my 35 years covering baseball, that was the best park experience that I had been to. Like, just fans were electric. I mean, Tarek Skubal didn't hear any kind of teammates letting him know, like, keep an eye on it. Like, the crowd affected that play, that first run scored for Seattle.
For sure.
Helped Naylor steal that base. Not that he's not great there all season long, but, like, I do think there's a lot of opportunity here, an advantage for Seattle, because their home crowd has been unbelievable.
Humans feed off of energy. They really do. When I played, the biggest crowd I ever played in front of was probably Auburn or Wisconsin. Right? And you can feed off that energy. You definitely do, either positively or negatively. And when T-Mobile is going and rocking, there's no way that these guys don't feel that. There's no way that they elevate their play just a little bit because you have the support of your squad. So for them, that's why I think it's even more impressive what they did in Toronto, because Toronto was rocking that first inning. They were juiced up. We hit a bomb off of y'all. We're ready to go. And somehow they fed off that energy in a positive way. So when we talk about good vibes only with this team, it's whether you're home, you're away, they're with you or against you. So far, they found a way to use that energy and execute.
And maybe, according to A-Rod, it doesn't matter if Toronto, gets into this one or takes a lead or if the crowd gets a little bit quiet. He says the Mariners haven't been intimidated.
And let me add one thing to that, Cap, because, Kevin, when you're playing and you stare death right in the face, like 9 times, like that 15 innings, all of a sudden you get to the other side of the mountain, you go, hey, wait a minute, boys, and now we go on the road. And, Big Dumper has 10 home runs there, and everyone feels good, and you're off to the races. Sometimes you just need to get over that edge to let the monkey come off your bat, and now you can release and play well.
I think a cool underlying story with both of these clubs is that both have been really resilient this year. Both have, fought back to take their division. The Mariners did it far more late in the year than did the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays were still fighting the Yankees for it. It was kind of a 3-way race for a minute there. They've both dealt with injuries. They've dealt with underperforming players at times and then had surprises at others. It's kind of a cool storyline that both have really surprised at times. I like the Mariners' odds here, statistically, taking a 2-0 series lead, but also just kind of the magic. I hate to sound ridiculous there, but I mean it. The just kind of like special feeling that's been around this team in the postseason so far.
Yeah, that's part of the championship like pedigrees that you have this magic, this glow around you. If anybody's watched The Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy has the glow. I'm gonna educate you, Stacy. If you watch that movie, you have an automatic pass to the cookout.
You're going to say this to me, and then you're going to rescind the pass.
I'm not.
No, you're going to dangle the cookout pass in front of me, and it's constantly going to be something I can't get, because the second that I say I'm bringing a Caesar salad again, you're going to get mad at me, and you're going to take it away.
I'm going to give you 2 points towards the cookout automatically.
Out of
but
what,
you
5?
can. No, it's just like you just get 2 extra points. So you have 2 opportunities to get back to 0, and then I rescind it. But if you watch The Last Dragon and you can tell me who Bruce Leroy is, oh yeah, all my fellow members of the delegation will back me up on this.
Never going to be allowed to.
You got it. But there's this glow that they have. There's this feeling, this magical feeling, this Disneyland type of feel. You ever been to Disneyland?
No.
Man, your first time to Disneyland. I don't care how old you are. No. You're gonna walk through those gates, and you're gonna feel the magic. Have the music playing in the back. La 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 la. It's an experience. That's what I'm feeling with this team right now. I hope they can keep it up.
Everyone's texting in, show enough, and I don't like feeling excluded. I feel left out. I'm like watching people laugh together through a window right now is what I'm doing. I don't get it.
That's what the villain in the movie.
I will find out. I've got it. Okay, a couple more minutes here. So we talked about, obviously, the momentum going in Seattle's way. I know some people don't believe in that, but I do. The odds being in their favor, though you don't want to buy too much into it because everyone is completely fair and right to be very nervous. This Blue Jays offense has been really quiet. I don't think that lingers, even though I don't think that T-Mobile lends itself to a lot of offense. I have a hard time believing Vlad just goes hitless through the series. Let's talk about the Mariners' bats, because we saw a lot of them get active, obviously, anytime you have a 10-3 win. I'm wondering if we see a little more from Geno today. I've been not critical because the vibes are immaculate from Geno,
right,
but he hasn't been the best version of himself. Maybe there was a lingering. He got injured midway through the season with Arizona shortly before the deadline, so I don't know if there's a lingering thing there. We all have talked about it in our group thread if maybe that was something, but I felt like there were little signs of encouragement in this series, with a double that inches away from being a home run, a fly ball to center that nearly landed for an RBI double. So I'm wondering if we see a Geno homer or a Geno moment tonight. That's kind of what I'm hoping is key.
It feels like it's trending in the right direction. A hit in each of these games, a double, so hasn't driven in a run. The last game with Detroit, he struck out 3 times. Obviously, you have a bunch of opportunities to strike out when you have 6 at-bats. But it feels like it's trending in the right direction, and that's all I wanted to see from Geno, honestly. Yeah, he hasn't had the performance that we wanted or expected from him since he's been here. He's had his moments as well, but you get this bat for situations like this, right? You get into the championship series, right? You are at home. You have a lead. Driving a run or two. That's all you need from Geno in this moment. So I'm still waiting on it, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Okay, so first pitch is at 5:08 p.m. We're going to have extended pregame today, so Wyman and Bob will be joining you, obviously, at the regular start time at 2, but it's basically Mariners pregame. And then Mariners pregame begins at 4 p.m., hour before first pitch, 5:08 p.m. George Kirby taking the mound for the third time this postseason. Is there information I'm missing here? I feel like I've just been rattling through it all day and excited for this to finally get started a few hours away here. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Dodgers are going back to L.A. up 2-0 on the Brewers after a complete game from Yoshinobu Yamamoto last night. What's the real headline?
To be fair, the best way to avoid a shaky bullpen is to simply never go to them.
This bullpen has thrown 33 pitches in 2 games, 214 by the starters. Yamamoto gives up a bomb on his first pitch and then doesn't allow a runner to get in scoring position after that. 3 hits on 111 pitches. In the way his delivery is so calm. You know, that little pause at the top that he has, releases it. Yeah, he just looked good, man. It's like everyone's been saying, even on the text lines and everyone we speak to, pitching is going to win you games. And so far with Blake Snell and Yamamoto doing their thing, the Dodgers have looked good.
Yeah, the Dodgers, of the teams remaining in the playoffs, have had the most strikeouts with 81. Seattle's right behind them, but have 64, so that's still a little bit of a gap. They've just been absolutely amazing. Dodgers, also of the remaining teams, have the most home runs. However, that place, they're tied with Seattle with 10. And, funny enough, the Blue Jays. So, look at that. Still hitting bombs.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Mariners' Game 5 win over the Tigers was the most watched Division Series game in the last 14 years with an average of 8.72 million viewers. And Game 1 of the ALCS up 32% over last year's Game 1 between the Yankees and Guardians. What's the real headline?
This is terrible news. This is terrible news for East Coasters worried about the ratings in a possible Mariners World Series. Your point doesn't stand anymore. Your whole point about smaller markets, which I would argue Seattle is like the 10th or 12th, is a mid-sized market. Your whole point about West Coast teams, small markets, people not paying attention, man, that certainly got thrown out the window with this one.
It sure did. And there's 2 America's teams, right? There's the popular America's team, and then there's the underdog America's team.
Yes.
Can the Mariners become the underdog America's team?
Did you guys see? So I'm jumping the gun, and I am going to talk about a potential World Series. I'm knocking on wood before anyone panics, but I want to talk about this point. Jeff Passan had a really interesting point about the implications for CBA negotiations for a potential 2027 lockout should the Brewers or Dodgers advance. And let's say it's the Dodgers, it would still be a relevant conversation if the Mariners advance, because obviously there's going to be an entire debate about whether or not there should be a salary cap. If the Dodgers go and let's say they face the Mariners, or if either the Mariners or Blue Jays advance and face the Brewers, it impacts the point that owners will be able to make here. So, like, if the Dodgers lose, you can be like, why do we need a salary cap? This is silly. We don't need to spend all this money. Look at the 20th ranked payroll for the Brewers or the 15th ranked payroll for the Mariners. They won the whole thing. If the Dodgers advance, or frankly, even if the Blue Jays do, because I think, Curtis, they're like 5th or something around there. If the Blue Jays or Dodgers advance and win, especially if the Dodgers do, it's like, well, how do you compete here? You can just buy a World Series. So there are some weird, like, lockout implications from whether or not the Dodgers advance and win. How do you feel knowing you're responsible for that, Michael Bumpus?
Hey, I'm responsible for both, because the Dodgers is my squad, the Mariners is my squad. So in a perfect world, they meet up, and those sides can argue for days. But listen, we know that money buys you championships. That's why the Dodgers have the potential to go back-to-back to the World Series for the first time since when? I said it yesterday.
99, 2000.
Yeah, 99 and 2000. How can I forget that?
It is crazy, though, that there's been that many. In a league that's not built for parity quite as much as the NFL, that there have been more teams to repeat as Super Bowl champions than to repeat as World Series champions.
It's
At
just
first,
so
I was
hard, man.
stumped by, but then you and Curtis both said, like, there are so many there's so many more factors that can happen in an MLB postseason.
Yeah, I mean, your season's 10 times the length of the football season, so there's so much more opportunities for randomness.
Yeah, I was just initially like, I had to think about it for a second, and I was like, yeah, you're right. And as a Dodgers fan, even though it feels like they've just been inevitable for a decade.
It ain't been like that.
Exactly.
First, what, 5 years ago was our first one since the 80s? You know what I mean? Like, it's been rough.
It's been rough. It's been rough.
My childhood was rough.
I'll give Bump that. Yeah, the Dodgers
Your childhood was rough. Your childhood
they were pretty
was rough.
brutal after Kirk Gibson's home run in '88. They did go a long time. Headline 3. Gold Glove finalists have been announced. Julio Rodriguez, the only Mariner to be nominated. What's the real headline?
Was Cal Raleigh snubbed? Now, congratulations to Julio. I think he should be the rightful winner here. Defensive WAR, and by most defensive metrics of any kind, he's been absolutely lights out at center, best center fielder in the American League. I saw a lot of Mariners fans being upset that Cal wasn't included here. Granted, I didn't see it as like a massive snub. I think he's great. He is far above an average catcher. He's one of the best framers in the league. And defensive stats in general don't accurately measure what catchers do. There are also some other really good catchers. I didn't feel that this was a massive snub, but what about you?
No, me neither. But then I had to try to tap into my inner nerd when it comes to baseball. And I saw some stats, Stacy, today that I didn't even know existed. Like, I didn't know existed. Like, runs saved in strike zone. RCERA, how many runs a catcher saves or costs their team based on how pitchers perform when they're behind the plate. RGFP, runs saved from game calling, framing, and pitch handling. Defensive runs above average. There's so many stats that these people look at. I don't know if they're ultimately looking at all of these stats, but there's so many angles you can go. And if you include the stats that I just mentioned, there's reason for Cal not to be that guy, because Dingler and Kirk and Navarez have just been better. They've been better in those situations. I think when you look at what he's done offensively, you automatically associate that with what he does behind the plate and think he has to be one of the best. He is one of the best, but it's possible for other catchers to have a better season than him, especially when I look at these nerdy stats that I didn't even know existed.
Well, and again, Cal could be, let's say statistically you go, I think he's a top 5 catcher in the league this year. Okay, well, there's only 3 finalists, so you could still be like the 4th best catcher and maybe not make the list. 0 pass balls did not get mentioned enough. His first came in a postseason game that they ended up winning, so it was totally fine. He also, or not, excuse me. Yeah, they did end up winning that one. But didn't you say Dingler was also the only other catcher with 0 pass balls and is nominated? So again, I think it's a year where, to me, I thought fair, because by no means is this an indictment on Cal's catching. I think that every single team in baseball would love to have him on their squad without hesitation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't think of it as like a massive snub. I don't know. I think Cal is an amazing catcher. I think there were some really good catchers this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Okay, we are sticking with the Mariners for quite a bit here. We're going to have Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. We have him on weekly, but this time he's going to be in studio, so a longer segment here. We'll talk about the NLCS a little bit, obviously mostly focusing on the Mariners and how they can get this done against the Blue Jays. Having some fun with Get Off My Lawn coming up at 10:45. And coming up next, let's take a listen to what some national media are saying about the Mariners. That's next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 wins away from the World Series.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, got him. And Richter Riz is going off right now.
T-Mobile will be rocking once again for Game 3 of the ALCS. Tonight, first pitch at 5:08.
We have such loud fans, and I think we really feed off that as a group.
ALCS Game 3 with extended Mariners pennant push pregame coverage at 2, only on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Ryan Roland-Smith here. For more than 35 years, the NBA Health Insurance Trust has been helping local builders, contractors, and their employees save money and gain peace of mind. They offer customized group health plans from the state's leading insurance providers. Small and mid-sized businesses deserve big healthcare access. The NBA Health Trust brings you the coverage you want at a price you can trust. Find out more at MBAHealthTrust.com. That's MBAHealthTrust.com.
This is where you hear the AL West champion Mariners in the ALCS, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope, because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
Hey, Brock Heward here. For my friends at PCF Construction, it was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop, and boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, PCFgroup.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we provide top quality windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and stay clear with low maintenance glass. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new leak armor installed windows through October. Plus enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
You know, I started the show by saying I can't believe it's Game 3 of the ALCS. You know what else has been weird kind of all year long? It's especially true right now, but it kind of started with the Cal hype. It's the Mariners regularly being a part of national conversation. Anyone else notice it still when the Mariners lead off SportsCenter?
Yeah.
Or even close out SportsCenter? I remember like when Cal was kind of making waves, and then obviously the lead up to the home run derby. It's like, wow, I can't believe that this Mariners game right now is on SportsCenter. I can't believe that. And now it's just obviously wall-to-wall coverage of playoff baseball. But just it's still so surreal, and it's also nice to mix in some of those national opinions and figure out how the rest of the country is seeing this team and seeing this ALCS right now. Let's start with someone who obviously knows plenty about the Mariners, Harold Reynolds, talking right now.
They're not pitching Cal. That's why the on-base percentage is so high. They're going to walk him. Right. That's why Ohtani's still getting high on-base percentage, even though he's not hitting, because they're going to pitch around him. And so the key is those guys behind him. Julio's been hot. He's playing like the all-star that he is. And then Jorge's come alive. And so now you start to get Naylor get going. And when Suarez gets going, then they're really in trouble. The Mariners haven't even got it all going yet, and they're playing great baseball right now. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat them 4 out of 5 games.
He is right in that Geno hasn't really gotten going. You haven't seen Wu at all. Granted, I don't know that you will this series, and if they end up sweeping, I'm knocking on wood, you won't, because projected starters are Kirby and Castillo for 4. But do you also feel the same where you're like, look, they've looked great. I understand it. I'm not saying they're going to win every single game, but they may not even have hit their stride.
Yeah, I do. I feel that way because Randy has had some hits, but he hasn't been the Randy that he's typically been. Geno has had a couple of hits, a double the last game, but he hasn't really been Geno. They put up 10 runs, and we're talking about them not hitting their stride, right?
Right.
How crazy is that?
I know.
Because they put up 10 runs, and they still didn't get contributions at the level from some players that we normally expect from. So, yeah, I feel like there's still another level for them to reach.
Yep.
And honestly, for them to get into the World Series and win the World Series, you have to take that next level. But that's the process of a season. That's the process of the postseason, is that, it's a snowball effect. You get better and better and better. And every now and then you're going to hit a bump in the road because you're playing against another professional team that is worthy of being here. So they're going to have good at-bats, good innings, good pitching at times. But you got to get through it. That's part of that journey. So, yes, I do feel like there's still a place that they can go.
I thought this was interesting. I'm going to play 2 cuts here. AJ Hinch, obviously Tigers manager, was on MLB Network Radio first talking about Mariners pitching.
They just had an answer from the pitching side. No matter where you were in the lineup, it felt like, man, can they use Brash again? Yep. Can they get to Munoz for 2 innings? Yep. They just keep coming at you. And their rotation, I love when they call Bryce Miller like a 5th starter. Like, I know his numbers weren't great this year, but it's like, come on, dude. That's your 5th starter is Bryce Miller pumping 96, 97 with a good split and a good slider. So
I'm actually really glad AJ said that, because who was it that called Bryce Miller the other day a journeyman? Was it Craig Carton or whatever? Like, first of all, saying, and you got beat by their 5th starter, you don't even know that guy's stats. Clearly, you don't even know that he's not a journeyman, and he was drafted by that team. But you especially don't realize what being a 5th starter means for a team with really solid pitching.
Yeah, you just didn't dive enough into the research and read enough. Even if you don't know who he is, all you got to do is Google him and look at just articles that have been written about this rotation.
But then you wouldn't be able to yell at
what
clouds.
He means. Yeah, so no, I just got to do a little bit more research in that department. But go ahead and look at him that way. Sure. We embrace the underdog mentality over here.
Here's AJ talking about the lineup.
And then when you look at their lineup, you got to look at their lineup a lot differently than you used to. Like they had a hard time scoring runs at times, but when you roll around the lineup, they have a couple switch hitters, which are hard to match up with. Arozarena hasn't really gotten started yet. He's an impact guy. Julio obviously burned us a little bit in our series. And then Polanco just hides in the 6 hole, and all of a sudden you look up and he has been instrumental to their success. So I'm rattling off 5, 6, 7 names, in their order, which is a different style of Mariners team than what's been there, in previous seasons and the teams that have fallen short, in their quest to get to the World Series.
It's been a long time since I've seen a lineup this good, and I love that they have shown up for the most part this year. No baseball is going to be consistently great offensively. No baseball team is going to be consistent, but that they have shown up and that they have done enough in the postseason has been massive.
And your most clutch players hiding in the 6 hole.
Right?
Hiding in the 6 hole. I mean, that's the true definition of depth and talent on your roster is when the guy who has had the most moments for you this playoffs is at the 6th spot. So that's another reason why I think there's another level for them to reach, right? Imagine if 1 through 6 are all hot at one time. Could you imagine a game like that? I mean, you would have to be so on point on the mound. Defensively, can't make any mistakes. That's the type of pressure that I think the Mariners can provide if they all get on the same page at one time. And really, all I'm asking for is one game like that. It's not realistic for everybody, every game to be hot. This is baseball. You're dealing with humans. But for one game, preferably tonight, that'd be awesome. If everybody can get on the same page and be hot and be good on the mound, be good defensively, we haven't seen the best game from this team yet.
Which, again, you already said this, but I was thinking it as you were speaking, that there was a 10-3 win, and you're absolutely right that we haven't seen all of them get going. It's just crazy to think about. Paul Hembekides talking about the difference between these two teams so far in the postseason.
The baseball romantics out there love the Punch and Judy team. The Mariners, up 2-0, have whiffed 43 times against Toronto's 20, have chased 41 times against Toronto's 28, and have struck out 25 times against Toronto's 9. But Buster, what happens beneath the hood doesn't much matter when you can bang, and right now the Mariners are banging. Small ball works, except when it doesn't, which is usually, and especially in the postseason against the pitching staff as good as the Seattle Mariners. And I don't think, Buster, there's anybody more instructive as it relates to this exercise than Vlad Jr., who destroyed the Yankees, dismantled the New York Yankees, and yet through 2 games, he's put 7 balls in play, the average launch angle of which is minus 21 degrees. You're not going to advance in playoff baseball, especially if your opponent is mashing, playing like you're playing in Williamsport. Right now, the Blue Jays are getting outslugged. John Schneider admitted as much after the Game 2 loss, and I fully expect his team to come out in Game 3 and swing out of their shoes because that's exactly what they need to do.
I also expect that from the Blue Jays, and I don't think we're going to see a completely suppressed offense from them all series long, which sounds funny to say about T-Mobile, but here's why. They are, in the postseason as a whole, they were so dominant in that ALDS against the Yankees that they're number 1 in slugging in the postseason. But if you isolate it to just these 2 games against Seattle, it's 197.
You know,
from 460 to 197.
And you know what? I'm listening to him describe small ball, and my football mind took me to football, right? How often are you going to see the Seahawks execute a 14, 15 play drive? You're not very often, but you know what? It's good. It's good, but it takes a lot of connection. It takes a lot of first downs being positive, a lot of second downs, picking up the first down. Like you're chipping away, away. And then you say you play against maybe even the Seahawks on offense. All right, say the Bucs put together a 15-play drive, 89 yards is beautiful. Took time off the clock. In 3 plays, bam, the Hawks attack you and you're right in the thing. So now if you are a team that depends on these long drives, there's more room for error. And that's what small ball is. It's just more room for error. You're asking your guys to execute AB after AB after AB after AB. And at times you're going to be able to do that. But you know what just neutralizes all that? Bam, a bomb. You get one guy on first, maybe a guy on second, boom, a bomb. We scored 2 runs when it took you 7 at-bats to score 1 or 2. So that's why I love the way that the Mariners plays, because you can get back in the game with one swing. So when they were down the other day, I'm thinking, I ain't tripping. One swing, you're back in this. And from all the experts that I listen to and believe in, that is the way you win playoff baseball, bombs and pitching.
Now, how does knowing that not only is this Toronto Blue Jays offense pretty good, or at least was pretty good against the Yankees, change the approach to pitching them today in Game 3? Shannon Drayer is going to talk about that coming up at noon. Jordan Shusterman going to join us in 30 minutes. And coming your way next, it's Get Off My Lawn on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 down, 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead to Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Things are getting spooky around here. What's up? It's Bump here, and fall is my favorite time of the year. Obviously, for football, you got the baseball playoffs. Fall golf, the leaves are turning colors, and adults and kids are walking around in these funny costumes. What's not to love? This year, I want to start a new tradition. Make the easy drive on I-5 to Silver Reef Casino Resort. They have everything you need. Deluxe rooms where you can actually spread out, feel relaxed and comfortable. Then I can head downstairs and watch the games on their big screens at the sportsbook while grabbing a bite. Then I'm going to head out. I'm going to go outside to Loomis Trails Golf Course. They got rates you can't beat for a course this nice. There's water. There's trees. It loops back into the forest for a couple of holes. You feel like you're the only group out there. While golfing, the missus can check out the spa. We'll meet back up for a delicious dinner either at the steakhouse or the cantina. It sounds like an awesome trip. You should do it. It's off I-5, exit 260, silverreefcasino.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, Brock Heward here. Taking the First Mark Insurance Challenge could save your family a lot of money. It saved us thousands. First Mark works for you. Search in the carriers for lower rates and better coverage. If that sounds smart, go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Tired of uneven heating, noisy systems, and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings with every system, and every system qualifies for max tax credits. Call the comfort people at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through October 19th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, Mariner fans, Rick Riz here. Fall is here, and it's the perfect season to power up with STIHL. Made for America and trusted by the pros. STIHL is the preferred handheld outdoor power equipment provider of the Seattle Mariners. From the ballpark to your backyard, STIHL's battery-powered tools deliver the performance you need. Want a discount on your next online purchase? Just text the word Mariners to 26931 to receive a special offer. Text Mariners to 26931. Visit your local STIHL dealer or go to stihlusa.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
As a quarterback, you cannot run a winning play with a messy playbook. And most companies' data, well, it's a mess. AI is changing the game, but if your data is scattered, you're stuck on the sidelines. Brock Heward here, and this is where my friends at Marquee Data come in. They get your data in shape, clean, connected, ready to perform, so you can finally put AI to work for your business. Whether sales, finance, or operations, every smart move starts with the right data. So head to mydataqb.com to draw up your game-winning data play today. That's Marquee Data or mydataqb.com.
After 35 years in the window industry, I know choosing the right team for your window or door project is a big decision. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Treating your home with care while offering top quality products is important to me. Our windows are 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards, reduce noise by up to 50%, and feature low maintenance, clean glass technology. Combined with our leading leak armor installation and lifetime warranty, you get protection for life. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Watch high school football live Saturday night for the Seattle Sports Game of the Week presented by STSPN. The North Creek Jags host the Liberty Patriots live from Pop Keeney Stadium in Bothell.
The best high school football stadium in the state.
Watch
Pop
the
Keeney.
game live Saturday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the Seattle Sports app, seattlesports.com, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page for full 2025 matchups. Visit seattlesports.com/high-school bump. You've been traveling a lot. I have to think that an airport one made the list, but we shall see. It's time for Get Off My Lawn, where you tell us 3 things that are driving you absolutely crazy this week. What you got for us?
Okay.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Let's get it. We got Shusterman in the house too, man.
Yeah.
This is a big day. I gotta do it right.
You have to impress
Gotta
Jordan.
do it right. Okay. Yeah, we're starting off with the airport, of course. All right.
Where else?
Starting off with the airport. Typically, I either fly first class or I'm in Group B. You know, so you're guaranteed to have your bag in the overhead compartment. Sometimes
Is first
it gets
class
a little
Group
crowded.
A?
It's its own class.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's its own class. I'm just saying. All right. So you know, I know my bag's gonna get on. I don't have to check my bag or anything, and I know that once they start boarding priority in Group A, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make my way to the front. Group D and F,
steerage, as I call them.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Why are you standing towards the front, making it all chaos and stuff? I'm trying to weave through, and I sometimes I fly Group D and F because the tickets around and be like
Way
that.
to try to appeal to the
All right?
people.
It be like that. But I'm just saying, Group D and F, this is what you do. You sit down and just be patient because you're not going to get on until late. And then also go and check your bag. If you check your bag, you can get on with Group B and you won't be stressed out. But all this moseying around the front and we're trying to make our way through. Excuse me. And I'm looking at your boarding pass, all right, which is still printed. Put it on your phone. Okay, I'm looking at your boarding pass, and it says Group D or Group F. I'm like, come on, man. Like, let's make this process faster. Let's work together, okay? Let A, B, priority go, and then, let's fall in line. It's just be organized. I hate when we're not organized. As a people, we need to work together and be organized and be efficient so we can get to where we need to go.
Bump, the day that Curtis, Matt, and I learned that you had a shower bench in your shower at home, I knew that we'd hear these complaints about non-business or first-class travel passengers. You just couldn't associate with them. You're different.
I'm trying to make this experience as smooth as possible for all of us. Let's get on efficiently. Let's get off efficiently. Let's do this, please.
Ooh, 206. Is it just me or is Bump getting more bougie over time?
Hey,
I'm sensing that.
Group B ain't bougie. Group B is not bougie.
See, that's the bougiest thing you could possibly say.
Group B is not bougie.
What's next?
All right.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Man, I'm so tired of these the college football, right? We start the season off all wrong. Texas #1. What are they now? 21st. Penn State #2. What are they now? Not ranked. Clemson #4. What are they now? Not ranked. Indiana #20. Where are they? 3. Virginia, who the Cougs play this weekend, not ranked. Where are they? 18. University of South Florida, not ranked. Where are they now? 19. Get rid of the preseason rankings. Let these young men play for 3 or 4 weeks, and then let's figure it out, because what it does is it makes it harder for the underdog to get into the college football playoff. Like, you have to be dang near flawless. Meanwhile, you got teams that'll lose 1 or 2 games, and because they started off so high, they're only going to go down a couple slots. I think it's just the process. I talked about the process of getting on the plane, right? Here's another process. The process of picking these teams, man. Let's wait and let them play out because all you're doing is you're guessing. Oh, they got this 4-star, this 5-star, this guy's coming back. Everybody put Eli on a dang pedestal, not Eli, sorry, Arch on a dang pedestal before he even played. And then you're quick to knock him off because he has a couple games that aren't great. And now he's back up there. It's just the flip-flopping and the prediction when it comes to college football is just ridiculous to me. We need to stop this, all right? And stop judging these kids so quickly, too. Arch hadn't thrown one pass outside of his home stadium before this year. And we're talking about his practice. We gas him up. You shoot him down, now you're gassing him up again. I'm just saying, man, the rankings are crazy to me. Virginia should be higher. USF should be higher. Indiana had to work their butts off to get to where they are. Washington needs some love too. And I keep it real. Washington is a good football team.
Why is Washington not even 25, not even 24?
No, they beat Rutgers when they were ranked too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what case is there to not have Washington ranked at all?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I don't know. We're finally moving in the right direction when it comes to the college football playoff. You got more teams in there. You're switching up the process. Last year was kind of weird. We're going to fix it this year. Now we just need to work on other stuff.
Can I introduce, this is not like a devil's advocate kind of thing, but this is a genuine question that I was thinking about when you were talking about. I think that the vast majority of listeners are going to agree with you that preseason rankings are stupid. They're based, yes, on rosters and previous season's performance and stuff that is real, but also the season hasn't started. Not a single snap in the season has started, so it's a little unfair. However, when any of us make the case for, let's say, an unranked team to be higher, if I were to say, I think Washington deserved to be ranked, and I haven't seen the latest, but like should get more respect because the only team they haven't beaten is the #1 team in the country. Well, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like if the case that I'm going to be using in, let's say, week 3, this is not week 3, but let's say in week 3, you're starting to make a case for why one team should be better than another team or why one team should start to be ranked.
Right.
You're still using the rankings to make the case.
Yeah.
So when would you start the rankings? After week 1? Like at a certain point, you're using rankings, even if they're not totally fair and reflective, you're using rankings to help make sense of things. So why not start the season with them?
With you.
Okay.
You just figured it out.
I solved it.
You solved it.
Okay.
All
What's
right.
last?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, last one. I had to hop on in an Uber to go on my way back. Hopped in an Uber, and this guy picks me up. Nice dude. I hop in, and there's no music playing.
Okay.
He didn't play music. He didn't ask me if I wanted music. Riding in an Uber with nothing but just us heavily breathing is weird to me. I'm sitting in the back of the Uber, and I'm like, is he going to turn on some music? Like, I don't even care if I don't like the music. Like, this silence for 45 minutes.
Why didn't you make conversation?
I didn't want to. Sometimes you just don't want to talk. I just got done working for 6 hours. You know what I mean? I just want to ride and listen.
Don't they have a little thing that you can press if you don't want to talk to someone? You can click like.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
You should click that.
Well, I'm just why the silence? It was weird, Stacy.
Maybe he didn't want to talk to you.
That's fine. Hey, I'll meet you wherever you are. But to get into a vehicle and there's nothing playing, and he doesn't even, you can listen to whatever genre you want to, just the noise. And it was an electric car, so you was.
What would make you more uncomfortable? Getting into an Uber and it's dead silent and all you hear is each other breathing, or getting to an Uber, he doesn't really say anything, but what's playing isn't music, it's a Dateline podcast.
Whatever. I'll
really?
do that, yeah.
So you're like, Jessica was murdered.
I'm fine with
and
that.
That doesn't. You don't start getting a little.
No, you know what I'll do? I'll be like, dang, hey, what episode is this?
What if he doesn't say anything?
Then fine, I'll meet you where you are.
What if he says my episode?
You know, as long as you got good reviews in that thing, and I feel like you're not gonna kidnap me, we're good.
Someone said for sure, Bump and Stacy are bougie. How am I bougie? I've never been bougie a day in my life. Bump's over here.
You were demanding the Mariners have shrimp available.
Who doesn't like shrimpies? I'm speaking for the people. Just because I want shrimpies to cover the ALCS, well, not to cover it. I want to see shrimpies in the press box.
Listen, I'm not bougie. You find me at the local dive bar.
I asked politely for the Mariners to provide seafood.
Stacy, your favorite condiment is aioli. Okay.
Yes.
Garlic aioli.
Let's shift the bouginess that way, because
no, this is offloading onto me.
The only time I'm kind of bougie is just when I travel, because I want to be just as comfortable as possible.
That's true.
Why not?
One of our absolute favorite people, Jordan Shusterman, joins us every week for the baseball season, and now he's here in person. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman in studio next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
the one and only Mark Schlereth. Every Monday at 4 during the NFL season with Wyman and Bob.
Are you following the playoffs?
Listen, man, I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. Alaska adopted the Seahawks, and Alaska adopted the Mariners. So, yeah, of course I will adopt the Mariners. They're a great story. They're fun.
Good to have you on our side.
Certainly am not going to root for a Canadian team. Give me a break.
On Seattle Sports, on YouTube, and the Seattle Sports app.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
If you use the SR 167 Express toll lanes after October 20th without a Good2Go account, you'll receive a bill in the mail. That is a change. A Good2Go pass saves $2 on every toll. That is not a change. Learn more at good2go167.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
Lowe's knows pros want more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free to get $20 off your first qualifying purchase of $100 or more just for signing up. Plus, enjoy free standard shipping and more ways to save on your next job. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid for new members only. Not valid with any other discount. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/pro loyalty for details. Subject to change.
At Bible Law Group, our team reflects the same lessons learned by our founder, James Bible, while playing for legendary Husky coach Don James. Coach James always said it's amazing what gets done when nobody claims credit. That's the philosophy we carry into every case, because your victory is what matters at Bible Law Group. When your legal problems hit biblical levels and you feel like you're stuck in a lion's den of litigation, you need a legal team that won't back down. At Bible Law, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. Find us online at BibleLawGroup.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Do you need a new roof? Then visit 3treeroofing.com to get $500 off your roofing project by scheduling a free estimate. 3Tree Roofing's certified team builds a custom plan for your home using top-tier materials with industry-leading warranties. All of their install crews are factory certified to ensure that your roof can handle any weather Seattle can throw our way. Don't wait until leaks turn into expensive damage this rainy season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today and secure your $500 discount. 3Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Baseball's postseason is here. Seattle Sports Playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket, 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are hosting the Blue Jays tonight for Game 3 of the ALCS. George Kirby on the mound for his third start of the postseason. First pitch at 5:08 p.m. with extended pregame beginning on Wyman and Bob at 2 p.m.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman in studio with us, actually like here in person, in the flesh. Absolutely amazing. We've recommended the podcast Baseball Barbiecast all year long. Great coverage of this team, along with your co-host, Jake Mintz. Just awesome stuff. So we're so happy to have you here in person because we have, I can't believe we're doing this, ALCS Game 3 to talk about. Let's start with Games 1 and 2. We've already talked to you about the ALDS, Game 5 and everything. So jumping into Games 1 and 2 here. I am pleasantly surprised that Seattle took both of these games. Do you see a common thread with how they've been able to get this done so far?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a total team effort. I think you're seeing their best baseball. And I think to make a Blue Jays team that made a Yankees team look quite bad is impressive. And I think it says a lot about where this roster is at. And it speaks to kind of what they've been building towards all season. And this is when you want to be peaking. And it's been incredibly impressive to see what they've been able to do.
Are you seeing a lot of Yankees fans, because I'm seeing it on Twitter, saying, I knew the Blue Jays were cheating. Look at them struggling against the Mariners. It's obvious now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is that really going to make you feel any better, Yankees fans? I don't really know is there ever a really way to talk to Yankees fans reasonably. But no, it's been an amazing thing. And again, it was easy to fall into this, they're going to be so exhausted. And instead, it just seems like they've been riding the wave. Mm-hmm. And I do have to imagine that it is a relevant point that they are used to traveling all over the place. And even that one off day, while it didn't seem like much of a break after a million innings on Friday in Game 5, I feel like that probably was enough to kind of reset and just keep on rolling. And that's you've just seen them at their best right now.
Stacy and I were having a conversation. Is there another level this team could go? And I go, yeah. And it's weird saying that, and they just won 10-3, right? Yeah. I gave my reasons and how I think they can get to that level. Do you think they can get to another level, and how do they get there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's still parts of the lineup, I guess. Again, you're getting so greedy at this point when you're playing so well. But
all the bats.
Yeah, but it is kind of amazing. I mean, you've basically gotten contributions at some point from literally everybody in the lineup at this point. I guess you could still point to Randy as someone that you're still waiting on that big hit, although he has still found his way on base and had some moments base running, of course, stealing some bags that has made a difference. But that's the big difference just watching this team, and we've been saying this all year. Just 1 through 9, you feel like something good's going to happen when anyone comes up to the plate. And yes, Geno is kind of going through it right now, but even when he has connected, has put a charge into one. So it's just the kind of the depth of this lineup that really stands out, and that's what makes it feel like it's really at a different level. I mean, I guess you want to say like Spire gets back to being amazing because he's obviously struggled the last few times out. But other than that, so many other guys are really performing at their best right now.
I want to talk about Geno for just a little bit. I've also felt like, he hasn't really just not quite had the second half, and he can be a streaky player, so I wasn't too worried. But we've already gotten questions today, yesterday about like, well, do you kind of move the lineup around and, put someone else? And it's like, no, because he's got so much power. So tell me if you've seen anything in this series that's like, well, well, maybe he could be breaking out here, or if you're just like, it is what it is, like you can't take him out.
I would be stunned if they mess with this lineup.
I mean, they shouldn't.
Really to any degree.
They
and the other thing is it's also the cover that you have with the rest of the lineup. But of course, because everyone loves Geno, they want to see him kind of find his stride again. And unfortunately, it's just been a few swings with a lot of strikeouts in between. But it hasn't cost the team because there's so many other guys swinging the bats well. But you still have the possibility of him hitting a big homer still on the table. And I think that's why they'll probably keep him in the middle of the lineup there. And yeah, there's just really no reason to mess with this right now, especially for a manager like Dan Wilson. That would just be shockingly out of character to suddenly shake stuff up. I just think that they're really rolling.
Pitching in bombs is what I said earlier. I said that's how these guys win this ball game. It wasn't an original thought. Passon said it, and I seconded. But I got some pushback on the text line saying, "No, well, they're going to get themselves in trouble trying to launch the ball out." And my opinion is, you've done this all year. Why switch it up now? Should they continue to be aggressive?
Yeah. I think the key part of that strategy working, and I think that we kind of saw this over the course of the regular season, and this was even true when the strikeouts were even higher over the last couple of years, is the quality of the at-bats, even though sometimes they are ending in strikeouts, is still so much better. I mean, the degree to which they're able to foul pitches off and work at-bats, even if it doesn't necessarily end in a positive result, that has clearly been what helped against a guy like Tarek Skubal, but it's helped against really anybody. It helped a guy against Savage. And that is a core skill that is not going to suddenly disappear. Now, again, the results don't necessarily always come when you work those long at-bats. Sometimes you are going to end up striking out, but it clearly does have a cascading effect on the opponent where the pitch count's getting up. Now we're getting into the bullpen. And as we've seen in Toronto in these first couple games, like that's already a weakness. And so that is just putting yourself in position to have some big swings later in the game. So, strikeouts are still a part of the game, and that's going to be true for almost any team in the postseason right now. And honestly, you look at teams like the Brewers and the Blue Jays, who are known for not striking out, and they're struggling to put runs on the board, and that's because maybe they don't necessarily have the profile of guys that are able to work long at bats and then hit the ball over the fence the way that Seattle obviously has a balance of those guys.
I know we're 2 games in, but let's focus on the Blue Jays offense as though we're previewing it maybe for the first time, just for listeners who have maybe only watched them quite as closely through the start of this series so far. They were leading all postseason teams in slugging through, obviously, just an explosive ALDS series against the Yankees, are now last, haven't really done much of anything. I've been wondering if that trend continues, even in a park that suppresses offense, just because it's so hard for me to think that they don't eventually heat up. So kind of a double barrel for you here, kind of to preview the offense for listeners who maybe need just a little bit of a primer of what they might see. And then 2, can Seattle use a similar approach with slider heavy, or are they going to need to alter that?
Yeah, I'm really curious for George. I think maybe this is going to end up being a decent matchup for Toronto. I think what you saw in the first game was, Bryce Miller was not necessarily getting a lot of swings and misses, but the Blue Jays definitely had some bad BABIP luck in that first game. But they're also just whiffing a ton, which is out of character. I think Kirby with that slider is what's kind of unlocked some more swing and miss. And so I would imagine he's going to go after that again. But he's also, as we know, in the zone a lot. And maybe that does favor Toronto's hitters to be able to kind of get some more stuff going. But I speculated this on the podcast we recorded this morning. Like, we saw in this, I mean, this is not news for the Mariners in this ballpark that it's hard to score there. But even just this last round, right? All 3 of those games were 3-2. And then it was really 3.5 games, if we're being honest, based on how Game 5 went. And so we know it's going to be almost certainly going to be low scoring for both teams. Maybe a tighter game there. I mean, I would have to say that favors the Mariners because we keep seeing them win those types, with the exception of Game 1 last round. But maybe Toronto breaks out again. They do have some really, really good bats there. I do believe in Vlad. I believe in Springer. I like some of their younger left-handed hitters. And those lefties are really going to be the ones that are going to have to show up against Kirby, whether that's Lucas, whether that's Barger. Again, these aren't necessarily household names, but they were huge parts of their success this season, and we haven't seen a lot of them so far.
I was reading something, and they were talking about just a splitter and how it's making a comeback. And then I was looking at diagrams, and it is such a filthy pitch. It looks good for so long and just dies on you. Why do you think pitchers went away from that, and why do you think they're coming back to it now?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this pitch for a few years now, and I think that as we've had an uptick in pitchers coming over from Japan, I mean, that's a pitch that is extremely common in NPB and has been for a long time. We weren't seeing it as much over here, But now it is becoming very popular. And I don't know if there was a perception that it was maybe a dangerous pitch to throw from an arm health standpoint, and maybe guys have learned grips and ways to throw it that it feels like a little bit more sustainable. But this is really the pitch that has kind of felt like a cheat code for a lot of pitchers, starters and relievers, where it's like, hey, just throw that thing. If you can throw that, roughly around the zone and it has the right movement, it is going to be really, really, really difficult to hit. We've seen that. I mean, obviously, we saw it even with the Mariners with Gossman until it didn't. I mean, the risk of it is a bad splitter is a really, really bad pitch.
Yeah.
Because you hang something like that, it's probably going over the fence. And it's also interesting because I've actually been wondering about this. Kirby's gone away from the splitter this year, and he's really leaned into the slider. And I don't know if that's just a grip thing, whereas, of course, we've seen Gilbert, obviously, Bryce Miller have clearly leaned on that pitch, and a lot of other pitchers across the league, not just the Japanese aces, which, I mean, Yamamoto, my goodness. If you saw him last night, his last pitch of the game was 92-mile-an-hour splitter, 111th pitch of the game to strike out Contreras, or I don't know if it was Contreras, but that pitch is really special, and I don't think it's an accident because teams just know, like, yeah, that pitch works, and you should just keep throwing it if you can throw it.
I actually am glad that you ended with mention of that game, because while the majority of our conversation will be about ALCS Game 3 and be about the Mariners, we did want to take a little bit of time to talk about the NLCS, particularly when it comes to, in my opinion, more interesting to me is like that macro conversation about, the Dodgers are buying their way. And look, as someone who, and I'm sure like many listeners, or probably all three of us, kind of are fine with like, hey, be aggressive, like spend more. It's not illegal. It's not against the rules. There's kind of this feeling of like, well, okay. Jeff Passan obviously making an interesting point about the implications of, well, if the Dodgers go and win it all, there could be a point made during those CBA negotiations about, whether having a salary cap is necessary. What do you make of just the Dodgers, their approach? They could be a team that Seattle, if they're fortunate enough to get through here, faces, but also about the implications maybe of them.
Yeah, that piece from Jeff was really interesting, and it felt very dramatic. We haven't talked about it on our pod yet, so I'm kind of working my way through the thoughts on this, and I love Jeff, and I think that there's a lot behind what he's getting at. There's part of me that also thinks that, like, well, let's see how next postseason goes, because that's what's going to really feel fresh as we go into the winter. And again, as we look at it now, it sure seems like the Dodgers we know the Dodgers will be in the postseason in some form next year too. We don't know how healthy they're going to be. We talk about the Mariners peaking at the right time. I mean, that's what's happening right here. The Dodgers, for 3 months, the rotation was a joke. I mean, now most of these guys were just strictly not available, and the guys that they were rolling out there was just like, really, and they stayed the course. They stayed the course. Of course, they had enough offense to kind of get through and win another division. And now you're just seeing an unbelievable collection of pitchers, which, if we are going to lean back into the narratives, but also just the truth of the situation for their team, which is, these are players that they've spent a lot of money to have. And that is Yamamoto. That is Blake Snell, right? That is Tyler Glass now. And so credit to them, because, again, I'd rather all the baseball teams try to get the good baseball players as hard as they can. We understand that there's a lot of markets that literally could not possibly afford a Yamamoto contract or even a Snell contract. But as we also know, the Dodgers are doing a lot of things really well beyond that. I will say, though, right now, the story of their postseason has been those starting pitchers, which they went out and flexed that Dodgers financial muscle for. And I totally get people being frustrated by that. And you also kind of give them credit, because they are prioritizing winning as much as anybody. And you gotta give them credit for that.
I know where you stand with it.
Yeah.
LA native.
Oh, you don't mind the Dodgers dominating base?
Grew up a Dodgers fan.
What you have to do.
It's fine. No, right.
You see what I got on, though, man.
We'll see in the next round how that goes if it gets to that point.
So a lot of folks around here are upset because Cal is not a finalist.
I had a feeling this was going to come up.
Gold Glove situation.
Yes.
So what I've learned over the past, I've been locked in baseball maybe 10 years, right? What I've learned is that there there are just so many stats in baseball, right? And I try to make sense of it. Some of it I have to literally take notes because the acronyms are jacking me up. I'm like, what the heck is RCERA? What is RGFP? And I'm going in, I'm trying to find reasons why he wouldn't be a finalist. Not because I don't think he is, but I'm trying to just figure out how they view Cal as a catcher. What do you think of that situation? Do you feel I'm not mad at him. I looked at the numbers of the guys who are in front of him, and I go, okay, this makes a little bit of sense, but I do believe that he's worthy. What are your thoughts?
I think Gold Glove discourse is one of the most interesting ones because the process behind how they end up getting to the finalists, which is a combination of stats that Rawlings uses as well as like players and coaches that are nominated. It's not the writers or whatever. It's a very different process than the main awards. A little bit more opaque, a little bit more difficult. Regardless of exactly how it gets decided, the Gold Gloves are something where there are just a lot of good defenders, and it's always hard for the people to believe that only watch one team that anyone could possibly be better than their guy.
Right.
And the reality is that we do have enough stats that tell you that, yeah, Cal's awesome, and maybe this other guy this year was a little bit more awesome. Is he worthy? Is he a Gold Glove caliber catcher? Of course. We just proved that last year, and there's no way he changed that much this year from an effectiveness standpoint that says that he's suddenly that much worse. I think if you really want to try and explain it objectively, he just didn't throw out as many runners this year, and some of the framing numbers were not quite as strong, whereas right now, I mean, those guys that finished ahead of him, like Kirk, as far as advanced catching numbers go, Kirk is him and Patrick Bailey in the National League have separated themselves. And Dingler is a beast. Like, that guy's awesome. Carlos Narvaez, also an amazing season. I will also say, even just zooming farther out, this feels like a more legitimate gripe when your team's been eliminated and you have nothing else to talk about. Like, I think people understand that Cal Raleigh is awesome.
It's our usual approach over
there. Cal Raleigh in the running for AL MVP may have also been deserved.
And maybe he wins MVP, maybe not. But like right now, awards, I don't know why Mariners fans are concerned about that. Of course, you want Cal Raleigh to get his credit, and that's totally legitimate. But he's what matters is that he's going to be behind the plate in Game 3 of the CS where they're up 2-0. That's really, I think, what people should.
You know what I think part of it is, though, and again, both Bump and I, like he said, we talked about it earlier, and both of us mentioned some of the same names. Like, these guys were great. Like, it's okay. And it's okay also if Cal wasn't as good as he was last year, because where you're comparing Cal to is the Platinum Glove version of Cal instead of just like above average catcher Cal. But I think part of it is it does stem from the MVP debate, which you can assume. And I think it's that, well, if you're going to say that part of what makes Cal so special is, he's also a catcher, then people want to be able to be like, and one of the best.
Sure. Which of course, you're still leaning on what he did last year or won that award. But I also think that is also part of it where it's like he got that. It's not like he's never won a Gold Glove or never won. Like he's earned that. But I get it. It is all connected.
Well, it's a knock people have made with like, well, he's not even that as good defensively. And it's
which,
like,
again,
well, we also can't measure that accurately.
Well, and that's the other thing is for all the stats that we do have, whether it's framing, whether it's blocking, whether it's controlling the running game, that still doesn't even come close to encapsulating what a catcher is actually doing from the mental workload, which Cal has talked very explicitly about and saying all of this is more mentally exhausting than it is physically exhausting. And that you truly, I don't think we'll ever be able to capture. And but that's true for these other catchers also. You know, they're catching a lot of innings and they're doing a lot too. And so I'll say too, if you want me to stoke the fire of fans getting mad, I think it's going to be more legitimate to be mad about Julio not winning than Cal not winning.
Yeah,
I can't see a world where Julio doesn't win.
I
can see it.
What?
Again,
I feel like he's been far and away the best defensive center
I agree
fielder.
with you. If I'm just pulling up Fangraphs and sorting and looking at all the different numbers, there is definitely a world where he doesn't win. I think he deserves it for sure, but we'll see. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Because again, it's really hard for me to predict these things. Like every year the finalists come out and there's some where I'm like, how in the world did he even get in the top 3? And then sometimes there are winners that you just don't see coming. So this is a tough one to analyze and predict. I think it kind of makes it fun, but it's also one where I can't take it too seriously because it's a huge range.
I want to go back to the trade deadline. You pick up Naylor first, then you pick up Suarez. And we're looking at Suarez saying, that's the pick. Naylor's going to help, but that's the pick. And now it's flip-flop. Like, Naylor has been the main contributor, and the more I see him have success, the more I'm thinking we have to sign this guy. How important is it? No matter what happens, I know we're already looking towards the postseason, but no matter what happens, how important is it that they try or they do get this done with Naylor?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great fit, and I would make a lot of sense. But I am going to defer for the same reasons I just said about awards, because it's like he's helping you right now, and it doesn't matter. And I also want to just harp on kind of strengthening your point, too, about why I think he has shined in a very degree, maybe relative to Suarez. This is something that we talked about on our show after the trade happened, and I've watched Josh up close in Cleveland over the last couple of years and kind of understand the kind of player and hitter that he is. He has way more finesse to his game, as we've learned across the game, not just as a hitter, than you would think. I mean, again, you look at him, it's like, oh, well, that's the big slugger. That's the guy that goes up there and swings as hard as he can, hits the ball over the fence. And he does go up there and swing I mean, he's giving you some real A swings for sure. But there's a lot more finesse in that game, in that swing. I just think about that double against Skubal. There's no one else on the roster that can do that. There really isn't. And there's not a lot of guys in the league that can do that, to have the combination of strength, bat control, to take 100 off the plate and go the other way for a double. That's what Josh Naylor is capable of. And those skills is really what shines in October, when the pitching gets really good and you have to be making more contact. Whereas, again, this is not to dunk on Geno, but it's like it's going to be a lot harder. If you're going up there and you are trying to just hit the ball over the fence, the best pitches that are executed, you're probably going to swing and miss. And I think we've started to kind of see that dynamic in play in October. But, hey, that's why, again, going back to what the front office deserves credit for, it's going after both of them. It's doubling down. It's doing 2 separate trades with the same team to make sure that you end up with 2 of the best bats available.
When I know some people feel like predicting a series or giving an outlook in a series kind of will jinx the series, so I'm saying this knowing this, but I do want to have a little bit of an outlook here. I'm not saying like call who wins it and how many games, but from the perspective of, let's say, a Mariners fan who goes, God, it's so hard for me not to be a pessimist.
Sure.
Like, I've seen this team mess up so many times. And also worth noting, they've never been further than this.
Nope.
Never won 3 games in an ALCS. Nope. Clearly have never won an AL pennant, have never gone to a World Series. We already know those stats. What kind of, not reassurance, but outlook would you give someone who goes, hey, tell me Seattle's got a real shot here?
Yeah. I'll actually start with the pessimism, which is not what you asked, and I'll finish
that's great.
I'll finish on a high note, which is that, I mean, you can't get too comfortable in these series. I mean, I was just there in Detroit last week after they had dominated Game 3, and they're up 3-0 in Game 4, and I'm getting ready to, I'm sitting there in the press box, all right, I'm like, okay, Mariners are going to the ALCS. I'm starting to write that story. I'm writing about Bryce Miller, and I'm like, all right, here we go, Mariners, here they go. They're about to go. It was going to be the anniversary of the Edgar double, and I was like, okay, here we go. And then suddenly the Tigers had 9 runs. And it's like, okay, well, postseason is weird, and you don't know what's going to happen. And also, because we've seen them play these close games, you don't know how close it's going to. If you're putting yourself in a game like they've played at home against the Tigers, you might end up on the wrong side of them. Okay, there's my pessimism. Here's my optimism. They look like the better team, and it's not particularly close right now. And when you have this many players playing well on both sides of the ball, and you have this kind of confidence, and you have this kind of home crowd, which is obviously going to be very excited to see them back home with the 2-0 lead, of course you're going to have that feeling because they've never been this far, but the players are the players. And right now, this is just a really, really, really good team. And even if some of the guys end up falling back and regressing and the moment gets too big and they start swinging out of their shoes, like, the chances are there's another guy that's going to have a big game because they just have that many players playing well right now.
I'm assuming you're going to the game. You didn't
I'll be there.
Come all the way out here just to hang out with us.
I like you guys a lot, but that would be not exactly. I don't think Yahoo's paying for me to come be on the show.
Need to go see Bump and Stacy.
Yes. I am here I will be covering these games.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Humpy, right? That's. We'll see.
Have we talked about whether or not Humpy should
win again?
Yeah.
So we debated this on the show. And by the way, if you haven't read my colleague Jake Mintz, look at Jake pumping out the awesome Mariners coverage. So shouts out to him. This is what a story. And I haven't even seen the Salmon run in person because I haven't been here since 23. So that, again, I'm so looking forward to the baseball. But I'm definitely excited to see that. Do I think that Humpy's going to win again? I think I do, but I'm not sure. We'll see where it's at in the game, right?
Yeah, my take was that, tell me if I'm wrong with this one, neither of you. My take was that the magic with Humpy winning isn't that it doesn't happen. And if you just have Humpy keep winning, on the one hand, you're signaling like this is good luck, it's going to happen, believe in unbelievable things. Like, I totally get the metaphor. but it becomes less special. Every time he wins, it becomes a little less special.
That's why it's like trying to replicate that magic is part of the challenge of shouts out Tyler Thompson, the director of game entertainment, who talked to us for the story, and just, I mean, some incredible quotes in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I honestly don't envy that assignment to kind of make that decision.
It's tough. It's like you're dealing with an entire metaphor and really fun entertainment.
Yeah, there's a lot of really funny ways that they could do it, and I trust them because the Mariners are pretty good at this kind of thing. So we'll see how they handle it. But I'm just excited. I mean, look, postseason baseball is awesome, and this is a fun time of year.
Okay, tell listeners before we let you go where they can find more of your coverage for the rest of this series.
Yeah, so Baseball Barbacast, I woke up at 6 a.m. to record a pod this morning, so definitely go check that out. Some Game 3 thoughts, some thoughts, really more thoughts about the NL, especially after what Yamamoto did last night. And then, I'm basically going to be here on the road here for the rest of the postseason. So however far the Mariners go, I will be there and writing about it and talking about it on Baseball Barbacast. So.
Will you please text us or DM us and let us know your thoughts on being at T-Mobile, especially with just the noise? And we can't wait to hear about it. We hope you have the best time. If you guys see Jordan, make sure to say hi if you see him out there. All right, he is Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. 4 Down Territory coming your way next.
2 down, 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Where you hear the AL West champion Mariners in the ALCS, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
New siding doesn't have to break the bank. We offer affordable options that add value and protection to your home. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. And while we're at it, ask about our roofing, windows, decking, and gutter services for even more savings. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free siding inspection. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Temperatures are dropping, but you don't have to settle for a chilly home this winter. Keep cozy and safe with energy-saving products during Washington Energy's home heating sale on now. Upgrading your home is as easy as $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 off. Take $1,000 off furnaces, fireplaces, and water heaters, $2,000 off high-efficiency heat pump systems, and $3,000 off whole home generators and ductless mini splits, plus free financing. Washington Energy Services, your expert resource for affordable home comfort. Call for a free estimate.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down. Who's due for a breakout game for the Hawks?
It's about time. We got to see him again. We've seen JSN have his days. Sam Darnold has done his thing as well. It's Horton. It's time for Horton again. I know he has 3 touchdowns if you count his kick return. But because I feel like JSN is going to get the attention that he deserves, there's going to be opportunity for Horton to make some plays. And also, a lot of times they're running, or not a lot of times, there are times where they're running mirrored concepts where one side of the field is doing the same thing as the other side of the field. It's not a full field concept. And there are times where Sam Darnold can just pick his side. And typically he's been picking JSN's side, as I would too. But now there's going to be so much attention over there. I think Horton is due for a big game. The most yards he's had in a season or in a game so far is 39 yards. It feels like he's had bigger games than that, probably just because you factor in that punt return. But it's time. It's time for Horton to have himself a game. That doesn't mean necessarily JSN doesn't have a game. I don't expect him to go for 162 yards a game. That's going to be tough to duplicate. But no, because he's balling, because teams are going to be scouting for him, Horton's going to have himself a big game.
Second down. Okay, what's your other game of the week if Seahawks are going to take the top spot for Monday night, obviously?
You're not going to believe me on this one. It's Miami and Cleveland.
Stop.
That's going to be my game.
No,
you know why?
I genuinely don't believe you. Is this like an ironic kind of?
It's going to be my game because if Miami loses this game, McDaniels is done. I think they're going to go in a different direction. He's 1-5, 0-3 on the road. You're playing a team.
So this is coaching for his job.
In the Cleveland Browns, yes, he's coaching for his life right now. Cleveland Browns, 1-5. You have a rookie over there in Dylan Gabriel who's been okay. Hasn't done anything really special. Looking at his game log, 57% completion percentage. He does have 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. But if you lose to this rookie quarterback, it's going to be problems for you. especially after what Tua has been doing, going at the podium, calling out leadership, calling out his teammates. It's going down over there in Miami. It's like Real Housewives of Miami over there with the Dolphins. Drama.
Underrated. I'm so glad you mentioned that. An underrated franchise. Okay, what if I said, okay, you have to choose between Miami at Cleveland, a 10 a.m. start, and you have to watch all of it, or Panthers at Jets? Which one would you agree to watch
Here's
all
the thing.
of?
Aaron Glenn is coaching for his life, too. 0-6. I think I heard
Two
today,
bad games.
no rookie head coach has started off 0-6 before. They've won at least one game.
No way.
Yeah. But no, I'm sticking with Miami. The Real Housewives of Miami and the Cleveland Browns.
I think a couple games on here could be interesting, like Giants at Broncos. That could be interesting.
That could be.
That could be interesting.
Jackson Dart in 44.
Yeah.
Continue to roll.
Dallas is such a weird one because their offense has been so. Dak Prescott has been so good. He has been so good
Really
this year,
good.
and that defense is just so bad. But obviously, a divisional game. That one's an afternoon slate. That could be a good one, too. Third down. Who's entered the MVP race, or is it the very least knocking at the door?
All right, because we put Sam Darnold as knocking on the door before or after last week's performance. Maybe going into last week. He was knocking on the
we
door.
did like a glass door where he's
Yeah.
like looking through.
Right there. So maybe this guy isn't necessarily knocking on the glass door. It's a wood door. You got to peep through the hole to see who it is.
Like you hear his footsteps.
Yeah, it's Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is putting together a great season. 822 total yards, only 3 touchdowns, but he did have a $170 against the Buffalo Bills, a long of 81 yards. Raheem Morris, who has coached some great players, Matthew Stafford, the other skilled players that he's coached. He said he's the best football player he's ever coached. Bijan Robinson, I was watching the film with him last week because I saw the numbers that he put up. His body control, his vision, his explosiveness, his elusiveness is second to none. If you haven't sat down and watched a full game of Bijan Robinson, just watch the way that he controls his body, his speed, his tempo, I suggest that you do it ASAP because this dude, if he can stay healthy, I mean, he can put up like some D. Henry numbers from last year or the year before. He is that special of a runner, and he has good hands. He can catch the football out the backfield as well. Bijan Robinson is not a glass door. He's standing behind somebody, and he's there, and you kind of see his silhouette, but he's approaching. And let's be real, running back will probably never get the MVP
I was going to say,
again.
that's where I am
You
with it,
know?
where I'm like, I don't know what a running back could you would have to have, obviously, over 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much more over.
You would need a down year by quarterbacks.
Exactly.
You would need your team to be dang near undefeated. He's definitely in the Offensive Player of the Year award conversation.
Yeah.
Same thing Saquon Barkley got last year. But I just don't think people on the West Coast talk about him enough.
Fair.
So I just want to bring him, to your ears.
I truly don't know what a player would have to do to be a non-quarterback MVP. I don't know anymore.
Me neither. Me neither.
Puka Nacua was on pace for, like 1,700 yards, just like a crazy. I don't even know that would have done
I mean,
it.
JSN's on pace for 1,800 right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know that does it,
Dang.
which is insane to say. But fourth down. Let's talk about the NFC West. What is this division best at?
Throwing the football. This is the best division when it comes to throwing the football. The Niners are averaging 291 yards through the air. The Rams are averaging 269. They're third. And then you have the Seahawks fourth, 252. You know what's crazy? They all run similar offenses. There's something. It's working right now. You look at the Colts. The Colts do similar things as well. They are fifth. Haven't watched enough of the Cowboys to tell you whether they run the same offense or not, but obviously they're throwing the ball over there. No, this is the passing division with the ability to run the football still. You got Kyron Williams with the Rams, who's a good running back. Obviously Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers. And then over here you have Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. No, the NFC West, man, if you want to have success in this division, you better be able to throw that football, which is funny because we all know fundamentally they all want to run the football.
It's just you really do see it. I would say if you were to take the most surface level approach to both conferences, you would see the NFC as being like defensive heavy, run the ball. And most of that's about the teams that have dominated for, let's say, the last couple of years, right? Eagles, right now the Lions, and they are teams like that. But then you completely ignore that not only is Amon-Ra St. Brown also, I think, top 5 in receiving yards right now, but that in particular, Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold are two of the most explosive passers in the league right now. So we're also used to seeing Lamar, who's not even healthy, Josh Allen, who is like that, but the Bills obviously coming off a loss. And Patrick Mahomes has not been like that, but it's mostly because he hasn't had quite the same weapons.
You know, I heard an argument, too, for Pat Mahomes to be in the MVP race. And it's because he leads his team, obviously, in passing touchdowns, but he's also the team's leading rusher and rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's doing it all by himself at this point. He didn't have Xavier Worthy to start the season. Rashee Rice is getting healthy or coming back. So, yeah, Pat is always going to be in the mix because he's Pat Mahomes. But, yeah, it's a pass-happy division at this point.
Yeah. We were talking about what it would take for a non-quarterback to win MVP. Someone said for a running back, they'd probably need to be like over 2,000 yards on a 13-14 win team. But that was Saquon Barkley. 2,005 yards.
Yeah.
2,200 from scrimmage.
Jalen just ran for a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Jalen had like, what, 12 rushing touchdowns, something like that?
He stole a few of those.
Yeah, he did.
Some of those should have been. Can you imagine? Saquon might have gotten it if he had those touchdown numbers. Because at a certain point, and we're talking at like week 12, still time to play in the season, a month to play in the season. At a certain point, there had been 9 touchdowns that Jalen had that had been carried mostly there by Saquon Barkley, and then it was like 1 or 2 yards to gain.
Yep.
9 touchdowns. If you
touchdown jacker.
I'm not saying he gets every single one, but I'm saying that if you look at 13 touchdowns and 2,000 yards and then make it 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns.
Feels different.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it 22, 23 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns. I think that's the number. It's going to be 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns.
Okay.
You must win MVP as a running back if you put up those. There's no argument. There's no argument.
Unless
for
like Pat throws like 55 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, under 10 interceptions, you can't beat that.
But,
I mean, Peyton did it.
I will come up with an argument for this. Give me time. Timeline coming your way next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passett with Brock and Salk.
How special was that game, was that win on Friday night over Detroit?
Just so awesome. Every city has those defining games for the franchises they root for, and it's even better knowing what came next. Go on the road and absolutely destroy them for 2 days.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off. Because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on SeattleSports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is the home of the Seahawks. Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN Seattle Sports.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered and it's heated as well. And the food, oh man, it was excellent. All with breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. Yep, you can go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Open enrollment for Medicare happens every year, but for a lot of people, it's still confusing. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Don't worry, help is on the way with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit brought to you by the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Find out what's changing and learn about your options for Medicare with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Order your free copy of the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
It's always such a pleasure for me to catch up with you, Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And as I understand it, calendar year is wrapping up. There's never a better time to take care of your aches and pains. Why?
Well, it's always a great time to come see us here at IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. We'll take care of your aches and pains. We'll get you better. But particularly, Brock, at the end of the year, most people have met their deductibles. They may have HSA, may have FSA funds. So use the opportunity to use your insurance to treat those aches and pains so you're not taking them into the new year. So you're healthy, fit, and you're excited about the new year. That's what it's all about. Here at IRG, we are so dedicated to making sure our patients really understand the insurance because it's a complex world. So when you call us, we're going to help you navigate your insurance. But I will tell everybody listening right now, if you've met your deductible, get your aches and pains treated here at IRG. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of your insurance. We'll take care of your family. We'll take care of everybody.
Clinics up and down the Puget Sound for you to go visit or see them online at irgpt.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about around sports today. So jumping outside of Seattle for a few of these. We're going to start with this one. You guys know how sometimes they'll do like media combines or, you know, things to kind of like poke fun at sports media covering things. And media members will do it. It's always fun. Well, the Boston Celtics annually hold a basketball game with local media members at the end of the preseason. So media members versus coaches. This year, Boston head coach Joe Mazzulla had a surprise twist.
No, but I don't want to break it to you, but you're not playing against each other. You're playing against the coaches.
I spoiled it a little bit. They played against the coaches this
Love
year.
it.
So how did things go? Not great. There's like a flash to the scoreboard. The clip online is great. A shot of them playing and a quick pan up to the scoreboard at the very end, and it's 57-4.
And it was after a coach had like a half-court shot, too.
Amazing. A recap of it.
This was actually exactly what I envisioned.
I wanted to win.
But yeah, Bobby's walking around your pregame saying, I want to win this game. I just didn't want to lose by 50, and we lost by 53.
So before the game, I was shooting around with Joe, and I told him, we're trying to win. And he said, no, we're ball pressuring every time. And that's the first time I was like, oh, no.
What did you think they were going to do?
I thought they were just going to play straight up.
It's Joe Mazzulla Phil Pressey, former NBA player, Emile Jefferson, Sham God, who I did not realize how good he was.
Yep.
He must have had like 30 points.
You know who his dad is?
Yes. And I did not realize that Joe coached him. I got the whole life story after. And then who was the fourth one? The fifth one, DJ McClay?
Yeah, DJ kicked our ass.
So the problem is we couldn't get a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't get the ball up the court.
Couldn't get the ball off the court. The ball pressure was so intense.
We probably took a collective 12 shots as a team.
Yeah, it took
we
us
made
a while
two.
to even get a shot off.
Yeah. I felt like every time we attempted a shot, we should get a point. That's how hard that was.
That would have got it down to like 40.
I'm honestly impressed they got 4.
This is awesome, and the fact that
This is funny.
they put themselves out there too.
Oh, they were making fun of
You know?
Clearly, you heard them making fun of themselves.
Yeah, they
That's fun.
You think you have a chance to do better than you really can until like the first 3 minutes out there. Then you're seeing the way these coaches are moving.
Yeah.
And that they just understand the game differently. No, this was fun, and I'm glad they didn't take it too seriously. You know what I mean? Like, what'd you expect? All these dudes played basketball.
I just want this to serve as a lesson to any yokel out there that thinks they can walk up to a pro field, court, whatever, and challenge a professional athlete to a game and feel like they can handle their own. Like, these are coaches that have been out of the game for probably a decade, maybe even 2 decades, and just smoked them. 57-4.
I guarantee you, Bump, you've played on like maybe like a wiffle ball league or something. I feel like you and Lofa were talking about it one time. Wiffle ball. Even retired players. You could be out of the game for 10, 15, 20 years. There's so much baseline talent.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you were just smoking people.
Not even talent, just mechanics.
Yeah, that's
just
what I'm saying.
Understanding of how to
Good
manipulate the game. I got into that wiffle, and wiffle ball is crazy because the ball moves more than an actual baseball. But still, them dudes is like, how did that ball start there and finish there? How am I supposed to hit that?
I don't know.
These guys are special.
It reminds me of Brian Scalabrine, who made his career in the NBA as like an end of the bench guy.
Yeah.
One time there was a guy who was like challenging him at the gym to a game of one-on-one, and he smoked him. And he told him afterwards, he goes, "I'm more close to LeBron in talent than you are to me."
Yeah.
And it's he's right. He's absolutely right.
That's why it drives me crazy when you hear guys, and they sincerely mean it when they say, like, this guy's a bum, or even like, I would do that job for half the pay. And it's like, but you can't. You couldn't train for a year and do it. There's just like God-given talent that some people have, and some people's God-given talent isn't as good as other people's God-given talent, but it's still talent.
Check this out. I was a freshman All-American in college. Freshman All-American. And I would look at Reggie Bush and be like, I can't do that.
Like, that's insane to me.
I can't do that. Like, how is he doing this? I can't do that.
Yeah. Next story here. Remember how Mookie Betts refuses to stay at the Fisher Hotel in Milwaukee with the rest of the Dodgers because it's rumored to be haunted, like a well-known haunted hotel? A teammate of his is now joining him, Teoscar Hernandez, but he claims it's at the insistence of his wife.
For me, it's whatever. I don't believe in ghosts. I have stayed in there before. I never see anything or hear anything. But my wife is in this trip, and she says she doesn't want to stay in there, so we have to find another hotel. But I've been hearing from other players and other wives that it's something happening in this couple of nights.
Now, Teo, I love you. This is like saying, we don't watch that show. I don't like the show, but she watches it, so I'll sit and watch it with her. I know you were worried about staying in that hotel. I know you were worried about it. Once your wife started saying, these ghosts are real, let me tell you about them, you were like, I guess, yeah, what, babe, for you, why don't we get another hotel?
Hey, you just listen to wifey. 1, good for you. 2, I stay in a hotel every weekend in Pleasanton, California, and supposedly it's haunted as well.
Do you think it is?
I haven't felt or heard anything, but they're doing this tour where different kids and stuff come around and they tell you the story of the girl who was murdered in there and who roams the halls. I haven't felt or heard anything.
I don't like that. Have you ever seen it? Had a ghostly encounter?
Yes.
What happened?
For sure. My aunt passed away, and my mom, if you're listening, you know the story. My aunt passed away, and she was a big lady. She was like 6-something. And she had these big old hands, and every time I would see her, I would see if my hands were big enough for her, or as big as hers. So when she passed away, I got out the shower, and there's a handprint on the steamed mirror. So I was like, that has to be my aunt.
And it wasn't yours. It wasn't like you putting your hand up.
Nah, and it was still bigger than mine.
That's sweet scary.
Yeah.
Like it's scary because it's like, whoa, but it's very It's a sweet story.
Yeah.
Have you guys had scary ghostly encounters?
My dad's mom's house was supposedly scary. My grandmother in Detroit went out there, stayed with her, heard people walking around that house all night. They scared the heck out of me. Everyone's
Like
asleep.
no one's in the house.
No, people were in the house. People were asleep. And I heard just slow footsteps all night. Scared the heck out of me. Couldn't sleep. For like a week, I didn't sleep.
I don't like that. Next up, you're not going to believe this, but longtime New York City sports radio host Craig Carton hasn't spent much time watching the Mariners, and you can easily tell when he talks about Bryce Miller.
Toronto suddenly forgot how to hit a baseball, which makes me think they were probably cheating against the New York Yankees. And were stealing the Yankee signs.
Well,
and I'll go to my grave believing that.
No credit to Seattle's pitcher?
Because the dude who started for Seattle last night was a journeyman, no-name, their fourth or fifth best pitcher.
Yeah.
He was not one of their main guys. And Toronto, outside of the Springer leadoff home run, didn't hit the ball last night. And I'm saying to myself, no, wait a minute. Toronto can't hit the ball against this tool, but when Max Fried is on the mound, he couldn't get out of the third inning against his offense, right?
Yeah.
Made me start thinking, maybe we have another Houston Astros scandal on our hands.
Dumb for two reasons,
Oh,
but
my gosh.
credit to Bryce Miller for being a journeyman on his fifth team in Seattle and taking that game and having the run he did. I wouldn't expect it from a 35-year-old.
Drafted by the Marlins in 2018 and traded to the Mariners in 2021.
Yeah.
Has played 3 seasons now with the Mariners. Yeah, that's just lazy. That's just lazy. And you know what?
Journeyman.
It's lazy, and then his producer or one of his co-hosts should have gotten his ear or told him, like, no, actually, he's, this is his basically his only stop in the majors, and he's been pretty good the last few years.
It's just a weird, I don't know, man. This is a homegrown talent. Which, look, this is completely outside of the point he's making about truly believing that the Blue Jays were cheating.
Yeah.
So that's just, I don't know, man. Like, he cannot fathom that the Yankees did not win that series in advance.
There's no way.
There's no way the Yankees weren't cheated out of this. Never mind. You can't have it both ways. You can't end that series by complaining about your team and them focusing too much on home runs and, not investing in the bullpen. You can't complain about that and then simultaneously say, I have no clue why we lost.
Yeah.
You can't do it's one or the other. You don't get to complain about Aaron Boone or about spending or about whatever your team did if you think you were truly, truly cheated and you should have advanced. It sounds like you just want to yell no matter what. So at least get your facts right. Speaking of the Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joins us next for a preview of ALCS Game 3 on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 down, 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new leak armor installed windows through October. Plus enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Tired of uneven heating, noisy systems, and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings with every system, and every system qualifies for max tax credits. Call the Comfort People at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Celebrate 50 seasons of Seahawks football at Lumen Field and take your game day to the next level with premium hospitality and incredible views. Host a one-of-a-kind event in a private game day suite or get front row access with sideline and end zone field seats. For more on how to elevate your game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
I had a young woman who was on a new SUV, and she had attachments to her old car because it was her first car, and she had questions because she was doubling her spending budget, and she was very fiscally responsible. It was almost making her sick. And the best path at that point was to let's stop for the night and you go home and take a breath. She came back in the morning and bought the car. She was way happier. These are major life accomplishments. You have the ability to afford at this tier. You've secured one of the major needs in your life. You should be feeling a tremendous amount of pride and respect for your accomplishments. I'm just grateful that we get to celebrate it with them, that we get to be part of it in that aspect of it.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Baseball's postseason is here. Seattle Sports Playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket, 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Snapshot.
The Mariners are hosting the Blue Jays tonight for Game 3 of the ALCS with a 2-0 lead right now in the series. George Kirby on the mound for his third start of the postseason. First pitch at 5:08 p.m. An extended pregame beginning at 2 p.m. with Wyman and Bob.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Game 3 tonight in Seattle. Blue Jays coming to town, Seattle with a 2-0 lead in the ALCS. First pitch around 5:03 today, Curtis. Who knows? But we're bringing on...
It's an 08 story.
508. We're bringing on Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Shannon, before we look ahead to Game 3 or Game 4 and kind of the rest of the series with these games in Seattle, I wanted to talk about Games 1 and 2, specifically what we've seen from Jorge Polanco. I remember us talking to you about Jorge to start the season, and you were like, look, I actually think this could be a good signing. Credit to you for this. You were like, I think it could be a good signing. He was dealing with a knee injury last year. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. As it, A, felt validating to see his season, and B, what have you made of his postseason so far?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Stacy. It's been fantastic to watch what he has been doing. And it's also, it's such a tough thing to understand what a player is dealing with. And I know that Jorge was a player that they had targeted for years. They've been very, very excited about. And when he got to Seattle, we didn't see at all what they were talking about. And it often can be what I suspect it was for most of the season. And in talking to Minnesota folks at the time, some of them were, like, hey, you're going to have to watch this. He does get leg injuries. We think he had him at the end of the year. But to see him try and battle through that, which now when you look back, it was a battle, what he was doing. And he had to compensate in areas that he didn't have. When he didn't have his legs under him, he had to try and do something else. And I think he got so far away from the hitter that he was last year that when he finally got healthy, and that took some time, and it took some time into the season, it took some time to get his right-sided swing. You saw the player that they had talked about for so long, and it's a player that has gone under the radar for a long time. He spent a lot of time in Minnesota. That can happen. He himself is incredibly low-key, but you're looking at a guy that does everything right. You're looking at a guy that's got the experience behind him. You're looking at a guy who never panics in any situation. He is just very calm. He has confidence in what he is doing. He has confidence in his health right now. And he has confidence in the work that he put in this season to get to this point. And so I think it is just absolutely huge to see. He's very, steady Eddie in that clubhouse. You can see the appreciation that his teammates have for him. And I suppose the fact that he is doing what he is doing right now maybe shouldn't be a surprise when you look at it and say that there's nothing we haven't seen from him. We're seeing him at his absolute best, which we saw in the first month of the season, which is something that helped get him to the postseason this year. And we're seeing him make that transition into a different environment, different as far as there's not a moment of peace in a game. It is louder than you can, imagine, and that is a fantastic thing. I know they're downplaying the travel, but it is extreme in the off season. We have, I believe, made 4 cross-country trips in 9 days now. Your time zones do get, and your game times are all messed up as well. So they've got adrenaline that carries them through that. I'm not complaining about it. They're not complaining about it, but it is different. And for him to be able to make, the transition and make the adjustments to the things around them that are completely different just tells you where he is at right now. And this is who Jorge Polanco is when he is 100% healthy. He can do all the other stuff to get him to the point where he is. And it's been just an absolute thrill to watch. And it's been good, so good for the Mariners. It's part of that. It can be any guy at any time, but he's going to be one of those significant guys, and he can probably carry it. It's not going to be just a one-off for him. If he's going good, he's going good.
And I'm so glad that the organization was patient and didn't feed into all the noise, because I was one of the guys at the top of the mountaintop, Shannon, like scratching my head and trying to figure out what's going on. But I'm glad he's with us. Shannon, they're up 2-0. This isn't a must-win game, but it feels like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, they really need this game. You can go down this game and be 2-1. But for me, it's not a must-win, but it's like you got to get this one. How do you view Game 3, and what do you think their approach is?
Okay, first of all, Michael, go ahead and relax a little bit and then, enjoy this one.
Do you? How can you enjoy it? It's stressful,
We're scared,
Shannon. It is stressful.
I'm scared.
No.
I'm stressed, Shannon.
I'm stressed.
No. Oh, okay, I've got nothing for you guys.
Almost down.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so, yes, they're in a great spot right now, and I think the thing that you're afraid of is the momentum a little bit, and that it's all going to fall apart should they lose this game. And I don't think I'd even look that far ahead, but if you have to look that far ahead, look at what they did when it all fell apart in the division series. So if that, and that's for you, not for them. I think they're just looking forward. I mean, right now, all they have to do to put themselves in the World Series is win their 3-game homestand against the Toronto Blue Jays. Crazy. And if they don't do that, they've got 2 more chances, assuming they don't get swept. Right. They've got 2 more chances in Toronto. So I don't think putting that kind of pressure on themselves right now would be a good idea. I think their momentum is good. They did get a little bit of rest yesterday. And George Kirby on the hill is a fantastic thing to kick this off. He thrives in this environment for starters, and he can adapt to whatever he needs to adapt to. And this will be different than Game 5 against the Tigers. And I think the thing that they'll be looking for and the thing that they will have to be planning for is the approaches from the hitters. You've got better hitters on Toronto's side. You're not going to strike them out. I don't think they will be as susceptible to slider. So George Kirby is probably going to have to go back on attack on fastball with them. They have said, and it's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse. It's they've said that Schneider has said he's not going to wait out anybody. They're not going to look and wait for George Kirby to make a mistake. I think they are going to be aggressive. How does George play that into his advantage? And he's got the tools to do it, and they have had brilliant pitching plans so far in this postseason, and you've got to feel good with him on the hill. Now, one of the things that I am curious to say, and if I have a little bit of a concern, it was great to see the home runs come out to play in the Dome in Toronto. I think we're probably starting to head back towards cold T-Mobile Park. We did see in Game 4 a little bit. Balls just die on the warning track. We saw in Game 5 too in Detroit. So, they're going to have to do, I think, some of the smaller things. I think that you're going to want the Mariners to put the ball in play a little bit more. I don't think you could depend on the home run as much. But, they've got a starter that is coming in who has not pitched much this year off of Tommy John surgery. I'm going to be curious to see what the lineup looks like because Bieber has got reverse splits. It's a smaller sample, but they are extreme. And so I'm interested to see if you are going to run a few more righties out there than you normally would or not, or if Dan will stick with what he has done throughout, the September and throughout the postseason and keeping things very much the way they normally are and playing players very much the way they normally would. So, there's a lot that will come into this, but you feel good about what they've done against opposing bullpens or, Toronto's in particular. You feel good about their ability to get most pitchers out a little bit sooner than others. So it does appear to me to be a good matchup. It would be nice to get it. It would be, you want to carry that momentum. I wouldn't panic if they don't.
Looking at the bullpen overall, Shannon, am I wrong in assuming that given that they didn't have to dig into it too much in Toronto and given the off day that kind of anyone is available? I know Bizzardo and Munoz have both pitched over 6 innings in the postseason so far. Is it kind of like anyone can be used here, or is there someone you expect to have the night off?
Yeah, they've been really aggressive, and like what we were just talking about, what you want to see is you want to see them win this game, and I think that they will be aggressive in going after this game. If they have a chance to win it, they're not going to say Munoz needs a day off. They're going to throw him out there. And I think the same with Bizzardo. I think we were even actually a little surprised to see him in Game 2 in Toronto, and look what he did. So I do think it is all hands on deck. I don't think they're going to look to conserve anything. And if you think about it, if you do pick up that game, if you are able to win this series in less than 7, you're going to get the rest that you need going into what comes up next. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself on that. I don't think they're thinking that. I think they're just thinking everybody is available and they go to them.
Passon was on the morning show. He talked about, look, this is how they win. You throw strikes in and you hit bombs. And do you expect them to continue to be aggressive in the early pitches in these ABs like they were recently, or do you feel like they're going to try to get a team to chase that typically does not chase?
Yeah, I don't think – I think they will be aggressive, particularly with George on the hill. And I think that is your absolute best course of action against the Blue Jays. It's, they put up some of the best at-bats in baseball over the last season. So I don't think that you can count on, I think they have the lowest strikeout rate, at least they did in the American League. I don't think you can count on, well, today's the day that, we're going to get 10 strikeouts against them. So I think you look for your good stuff to play. I think you feel good if you're George Kirby or any of the pitchers that you are in your home ballpark right now, and you just go out there and, as they like to say, let it eat.
I know that it's easier to get along when everyone's winning, and it's probably silly to ask if a team has a good culture when they're in the ALCS. That being said, Shannon, you've covered many iterations of Mariners teams, good and bad. How does the maybe camaraderie on this team between players, leadership, maybe a culture in a clubhouse compare to seasons past?
I think it is so hard to sometimes figure out what is real. And then once you get the season behind you, you start hearing things. You're like, wow, I wasn't aware of that. Hopefully not too much of that, but that does happen sometimes. I do think that this team has a different bond than I think I have probably seen from any recent team. And they were building towards that, but I think they hit that mark. And I think Dan brought in, his own, special sauce and whatnot, and his way of handling things and bringing guys together. And I think it really just expanded on something good that they started with. And, of course, the additions that they brought in throughout the year, I think have helped as well. But I think if you heard J.P. Crawford on the field after Game 2 in Toronto, he said it's about, it's everybody doing everything and everybody leaning on everybody and everybody picking up everybody and everybody pushing everybody. He said it's all about us. And it was, really a strong statement. He said that when you get into the tough situations, when you get into every game being big, as you guys are pointing out right now, who do they lean on? And he said each other. That's it. We lean on each other. And it's just, we have no worries about what we do because we know we are all together and we know we have the guy next to us. And you're really seeing that, now you're seeing it come together, and you see the fun in the dugout during the season and whatnot. But it just, to me, it seems almost different level. And, are they the most together? I think there's a good chance they are. And part of that is because of the foundation that was built and the experience that a lot of these guys have, and that they were here in 22 and didn't get it done. Their motivation, their group motivation, I think is very different than any club, and that helps as well. So it's a special group, and I've said this before. I'm thrilled to know that 20 years from now, this is the group we're going to be talking about. That 30 years from now, they will continue to talk about this group. They've earned that. They are good on and off the field, great on and off the field for that matter. And to think that these are the names that people will be bringing up for years and years to come, I think that is just so well earned. And I think that this is the group. I said that probably with a month and a half to go when things were starting to go sideways. One of the things that hurts is you want this group to be the group. And from what we have seen and what we know of them and what they have been through, not just this year, but in the past years as well, this is a group that should do what they've got a really good chance to do right now.
Shannon, you don't strike me as superstitious or believing in that nonsense, but me, I am. And last game, I didn't move from my seat the whole game. I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm not changing anything. Do you have any pre-game routines or something you do during the game that you will not change?
Not really. I was asked about this on the afternoon show yesterday, and Bob is with you. Bob could not be more superstitious, and he has been up in the booth for the home games so far this postseason, and somehow came across the lucky cookies in the last game, in Game 5, and so I was forced to eat a cookie in Game 5, and apparently there will be a cookie tonight. So I think there are good superstitions, and what I did tell them, the one thing that I won't do is I won't look ahead too much. So, if they clinch this at home, or I probably, now that I'm talking it through, will need to plan it a little bit better than I am right now, because they might go straight, probably come home. I won't pack my suitcase until they have clinched. And if that means staying up until 2 a.m. after the champagne celebrations, or getting up, at 6 a.m. to pack the suitcase for the 10 o'clock flight, I'll do that. That's something I refuse to do, is have that stuff ready to go. And buying the poncho, I'm pretty late on that too in the regular season.
Last one before we let you go. I forgot to ask earlier. I know that Woo isn't slated to start in either of these next two games here for 3 and 4, but we get a lot of questions from listeners, as I'm sure you do, about his status and if we could see him, and what about a bullpen check-in. So just what's what's the latest on Brian Wu, and do you expect him to be used at all in this series?
Yeah, it sounds like he checked out of the live batting practice on the field in Toronto very well. He looked great afterwards. You can tell a lot from how they go about their work and if they're favoring anything and if they're asking a lot of questions. And he was all smiles and a lot of discussion afterwards, but it was light. He himself said that he feels ready for whatever they ask him to do. So I think it is now just a matter of finding the place that'll be the best place to bring him back. And, you have to keep in mind it's going to be on a limited pitch count. You also have to keep in mind it's going to be an adjustment for him. It's been almost a month now since he has pitched in a game, and the environment has changed greatly. How does he deal with the adrenaline that they're dealing with right now and started dealing with down the stretch, before the clinch games? So I think there's a good chance we see him in this series. I know there's been a lot of talk about Game 5. I think a lot will have to do with where they are and what the situation is, and what they can also line up behind him, because, again, you're not going to be looking at too many pitches from him when he does come back, but he does appear to feel good about the opportunity coming up, and he feels he is ready from everything that we can tell. So, yeah, I think we should see him in this series.
Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Dodgers are going back to L.A. up 2-0 on the Brewers after a complete game last night from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. What's the real headline?
To be fair, the best way to avoid a shaky bullpen is simply never going to them. It's just a baseball kind of approach that some people don't get. You know what I mean? It's just if you always pitch complete games and never go to the bullpen, you'll never have to worry about a bad bullpen.
The bullpen is pitched 33 pitches in 2 games.
Insane to
33.
me.
214 by your starters. 10 Ks by Snell, 1 hit. Yamamoto gave up 3 hits. It's ridiculous. I gotta, people get mad at me when I talk proudly about my Doyers. So I'm just going to be real basic here. The Dodgers are a good team, and I hope that, the Mariners, if they have an opportunity to play the Dodgers, can go back for back, pitch for pitch.
Can I have your back here and just say, if you're not watching the video stream on the app, which you should be, if you're not watching the video stream, Bump is wearing a Mariners hat and jacket. So for anyone wondering, like, who are you rooting for? Like, he's making his point here. However, the other point about the Dodgers just being exceptional is right. And guys, look, again, a team that takes the first 2 games of a best-of-7 series advances 84% of the time. I think you're hoping in this case, if the Mariners are fortunate enough to advance, that the Brewers are one of those guys that don't let that get away from them.
And honestly, that's easier for me. If the Brewers do advance and the Mariners advance, then it's fine. It's going to be fine either way. But
yeah. I'm grateful no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Dodgers are good.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Mariners' Game 5 win over the Tigers was the most watched division series game in the last 14 years, with an average of 8.72 million viewers in Game 1 of the ALCS, up 32% over last year's Game 1 between the Yankees and Guardians. What's the real headline?
It's bad news. This is bad news. This is terrible news for East Coasters worried about the ratings in a possible Mariners World Series. Let's go, baby. From MLB Communications, again, Curtis, you mentioned for specifically that division series, the baseball postseason as a whole, which I know isn't just the Mariners here, is also the most watched since 2010. I think that maybe the level of competition between all these teams, I know the Dodgers kind of far and away had the most spending, and then the Reds were certainly... they got bounced quickly. They were swept by the Dodgers in the wild card. We're like the only non-competitive one. But you had 3 other wild card series go to a Game 3. You had an amazing Game 5 between the Tigers and Mariners. It's been a great postseason.
The Mariners are America's team now. America wants to see the Mariners win this. Hasn't been done before. Never reached the World Series. A-Rod endorsing the squad on Fox when Jeter and Big Papi didn't want to do it. It's America's team.
Can I ask a question just for the room? Matt, feel free to answer if you so choose. If A-Rod is in any way introduced at T-Mobile in any of these games, do you think it's bad if people boo? Do you expect people to boo? Do you expect them to cheer?
I expect some boos.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I expect some boos.
Sure. But it's been a long time. And Curtis, you pointed it out. Bump, you just did now. A-Rod has been pretty ride or die for the Mariners on all of these broadcasts through the ALDS and into the ALCS. He's been choosing them every time.
I know we already thought there would be some boos, but, following the Brock and Salk show and looking at the text line as we transition through.
It's mostly positive.
Yeah.
It was mostly positive, but there were some negatives. So I think that reflects exactly what would happen at the ballpark. I would say 85% positive.
I think so too. And I don't think that was the first time he was on Brock and Salk, because I remember a time when he was on and he was talking about just kind of like his time in Seattle. And I remember then that there were people texting in going, wow, I've actually kind of done a 180 and this is a very likable interview. So this was at least the second time he was on. And I saw some of the same responses. I don't know, man. I kind of think there's a point. There is a point, and I get that for some people that anger will always be there. But if you're going to be mad at A-Rod for leaving and wondering, what 2001 could have looked like and wondering what the impact of him leaving meant on you never making a World Series, if you get to one, is it easier to forgive him?
Yeah.
Just think about it.
It is.
I think so.
It should be.
But maybe if I was 20 when he left instead of a kid, I'd feel differently. But
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3 Gold Glove finalists announced today. Julio Rodriguez, the only Mariner to receive a nomination. What's the real headline?
Was Cal Raleigh snubbed?
No. I think he's been recognized. I don't think he's been snubbed. I think he could be in, he could be out. The first time around, I told you I'm looking at all these weird stats that baseball has, and he's in the mix, but these guys are statistically better than him in some areas. But no, I think that it's okay. People keep texting in no pass balls. I get all that. But there are other things they're looking at, the framing and all that good stuff. You're thinking about Cal, the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about Cal, 60 bombs. You're thinking about Cal, over 100 RBIs. That's what you're thinking about. Behind the plate, I could see the debate.
Yeah, we've had a couple texts in. Look, I think that these are also 3 exceptional catchers. And this is not an indictment on Cal not being a good catcher. This is, if you're the 4th or 5th best catcher, you just didn't make the final cut. I think he's statistically, you mentioned it, one of the best framers in the league. There are some other metrics in which either Alejandro Kirk, Dingler, or whatever. I mean, you want to talk about having no pass balls. Dylan was the only other catcher to do that. And that's an impressive feat that not enough people talked about with either of them, and especially Cal during that MVP chase. The only time I bristle is when, let's say you get a Yankees fan trying to make the case against Cal, and they go, he's not even a good catcher. He's not a platinum glover anymore. And it's like, he's a great catcher.
It's like what Shusterman said. You think that he went from platinum glover last year to garbage?
Yeah.
Nah.
No. Well, and there are some things that you can't measure. Let's say that Cal's pop time isn't the best and that he didn't throw out quite as many people. Okay. There's also no stat to measure the impact on a pitching staff. There is no reliable stat that we have to measure that for different catchers. Maybe the consensus is that there isn't a massive difference, but I don't know. I think that's worth it. Taking a look around the NFL next on your home for the Mariners on the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 down, 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Just like our favorite baseball team, Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington is stepping up to the plate. Mention Go Seattle when you book, and you'll knock it out of the park with 15% off and 12 months, no payments, and no interest. Schedule today before this deal is gone.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Rain is coming. Is your roof ready? The rainy season is approaching fast, Seattle, and 3 Tree Roofing has your roof replacement covered. Get $500 off by scheduling your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com. Their professional installers guarantee a seamless replacement this rainy season. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
At Bible Law Group, we understand when you've got legal problems so biblical, not even an Etsy witch can turn your court case around. With James Bible and his team by your side, don't panic when your ark is lost in divorce or when a whale swallows your defense attorney. At Bible Law Group, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. When your legal problems hit biblical proportions, contact Bible Law Group and let our talented team of lawyers get to work, no matter the problem. Find us at BibleLawGroup.com.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parango and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
This is where you hear your AL West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Open enrollment for Medicare happens every year, but for a lot of people, it's still confusing. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Don't worry, help is on the way with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit brought to you by the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Find out what's changing and learn about your options for Medicare with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Order your free copy of the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
Hear that? Sounds like simple. Valvoline Instant Oil Change simple. No appointments. About 15 minutes to change your oil. Then out the door and back to life.
Yeah, honey, on my way.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Expert service doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, who is it you talk to that always complains about Pro Football Focus?
Big Ray.
Big Ray. Does Paul Moyer too?
More easy.
Maybe just some of our football playing friends who just kind of get kind of frustrated with some analysts.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
they hate it when that's just like that's Bible, that's true.
Okay, well, they're
you can
being
reference it sometimes, but nah, let's watch real football.
Joined by a couple other names right now, including Chris Long and J.J. Watt. Those are two pretty reputable names. So Sunday Night Football has shown Pro Football Focus grades on their broadcast for a long time, but Chris Long has had enough of it.
Get Mahomes quarterback 13 of 32 off my television screen. We're talking about legislation, what our kids shouldn't see at school, what they shouldn't be learning about. Like, should we have political ads on television? I want the PFF scores off the TV as bad as I want political ads off the television because, like, God forbid there's somebody watching the game who doesn't know who Patrick Mahomes is. Right. They're going to be badly misguided, brother. 13th best quarterback in the league.
J.J. Watt was asked about Pro Football Focus grades on the Pat McAfee show today, and he also had a very strong take.
You can't watch film on the TV copy and create a grade. You can't break down a person's grade and know what they're supposed to do if you don't know their exact assignment. Like D-Buck just said, I know defensive line play unbelievably well. I could not go and grade a game for a player and give him a definitive grade without speaking to him, his coach, the scheme, everything. It's just a fact. PFF has a ton of great stuff. Player grading sucks. Stop putting it out.
Your thoughts?
100%. You got to know, here's what we do. When myself, Paul Moyer, Big Ray, Brian Walters, when we're breaking down plays and scheme, we typically say, this is what I think they're trying to do. This is what I think he's doing here, because we don't know the scheme the way they know the scheme. We're pulling back from all the knowledge that we gathered over the years, from talking to coaches, from coaching, from watching film, and we can narrow it down to say, this is what I think they're doing here. So if you don't absolutely know what that player has to accomplish in that play or what he's being coached to do, it's impossible to give him an accurate grade. I don't think they're like extremely far off. I don't think a guy probably played graded at a 95 and he played like a 65.
Right.
No. But to say that this is absolute, this is the truth, no, I agree 100%. PFF has some good stuff out there when it comes to just like this throws and runs and all that stuff, for sure. Next gen stats too. But the grades, I'm with the OGs here.
Well, and it's like you're like, okay, well, what's the formula? And a lot of different outlets will have things where, like, if you look at completion percentage over expected, okay, well, I don't have the exact formula that they're using to grade the expected completion percentage of this pass. Typically, completion percentage over expected, which is not a Pro Football Focus thing, but typically it does align with very obviously good quarterback play. Sometimes those stats to me are a little more reliable rather than an overall grade, because it's like, oh, I can see that this was a 45-yard touchdown. Like, I can see that this was a drop. I can see, but yeah, as far as, it's why I kind of stay away in general from like analyzing certain things. I mean, I'm not an analyst, but like, I'll say something like, yeah, the offensive line really needs to get play their best game here, but like you otherwise have no idea what anyone's assignment is. You have no idea if someone's picking up the slack for someone else. It's
there are foundational rules when it comes to stuff. Pass pro, run game, route concepts, reads, fronts. Like there's some foundational stuff, but there's always little tweaks that coaches put in there. So those are the things that you just don't know unless you talk to the coach. The most informed I ever am is when I call a game and I get to sit down with coaches and ask them specific questions about their scheme.
I am glad that J.J. Watt mentioned, like, I played as a defensive lineman and I don't know that I could sit and know everyone's things. Because it's like, yes, I think sometimes there's a bit of like, you never played, you don't know at hand. But it's also fair for someone to say it's not even about playing or not playing. It's about not being in that meeting room and not knowing exactly the tiny little bits of their scheme that they want to roll out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's I think I'm with him on this one, too. Bears head coach Ben Johnson wasn't thrilled with Troy Aikman's commentary about his team during Chicago's win on Monday night.
I saw you said somewhere today that you caught a little bit of the TV copy of the second half. Did the tone of coming from the color analyst there surprise you?
Maybe I just had it on mute.
It sounded like you heard some of what they said.
No. Listen, you want respect in this league, you got to go earn it. And so that's where we're at right now. We need to go earn that respect from not only the rest of the teams in the NFL, but everybody. So that's where we are.
Lots of pregnant pauses from Ben Johnson in that one.
He's learned his lesson. He's being careful now what he says, right? That
better watch out when I respond with
this. Yeah, he's being careful. He's living and he's learning, and he realizes that a guy like Troy Aikman ain't going nowhere. You know, he's still gonna have to have these productions meetings with him. And what Troy Aikman says isn't necessarily the whole truth and nothing but the truth. End of the day, you want to win football games. And there are going to be mistakes during football games. You might not execute the way that you want to, but you won the game. And I think that sometimes as analysts, that's where we kind of lose touch with reality. Because you win the game, yet we want to nitpick at everything that happened during the game, good and bad. So coach is like, let me do that on a Monday. Right now, we won the football game. Let's give praise for that.
And granted, sometimes it's conflicting jobs, right? Like sometimes it is not your job as a color commentary guy to be like, hey guys, great job. You know, let's take this into week 7. Here we go. It's your job to say, here's what I saw. Here's how I would critique them in my brain. Like I think you can't really get mad at someone for approaching it when you have fundamentally different tasks.
Yeah. So that's an endless job.
Yeah.
But there's like there's a line that you don't push for a winning
crossover
team. Yeah.
Next up, Jerry Jones still feeling hopeful even after the Cowboys' 2-3-1 start to the season.
I see so much parity, and then you factor in that these teams get compromised with injury. And we can, have, and may. But if we should have some good go of it here over the next weeks ahead with our injury situation and return of injury, and we can get some wins, then this thing with Dak playing the way he's playing and with the way some of the guys have played that are playing with these guys out right now, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. The last thing that I'm thinking about is in any way being out of the hunt.
Now listen, I know that we all love making fun of the Cowboys. Sometimes it's easy, and sometimes they make it easy. Dallas is 3rd in points per game right now. Now, who knows exactly what they'd look like with Micah, but they're a worse offense without him. There is truth to what Jerry's saying about parity and about Dak playing exceptionally well this year. Underneath that is kind of what would have happened if you wouldn't have done this, Jerry? You might have the team that you'd always wanted.
Yeah, he don't have a bad team though either. I mean, they're not great. Offensively, they're on point. Defensively, there are some issues. He has to look at it that way. He's a competitor. I know he hasn't won a lot, or at least when it matters. He's a competitor. He's not going to fold.
All right. Let's get back to baseball here. So here's what's on deck. Cal Raleigh is speaking with reporters ahead of ALCS Game 3. He's going to be on at 1 p.m., so you're going to hear from him. We're going to have 4 Down Territory, kind of our last circle around football coming up at 1:15, talking about who's due for a breakout game for the Hawks in Week 7. Then we're getting to the latest from Alex Rodriguez coming up at 1:30. And coming up next, comments from Tigers President of Baseball Ops, Scott Harris, maybe taking a shot at a current Mariner. That's next.
This is where the baseball playoffs live.
This team is fired up. The fans here at T-Mobile Park are fired up.
The conversation.
This is the playoffs, the series we've all been talking about and pointing to.
The anticipation.
This is why you watch baseball.
And where you hear your American League West champion Mariners in the postseason.
It is gone! Jorge Polanco!
Seattle Sports Playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through October 19th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at PCF Construction. You know, it was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop. And boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, pcfgroup.com.
Ooh, that face. Quantum fiber internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Hey, Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of the video calls. Back to back to back video calls.
Quantum fiber internet blowing the socks of all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at
quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I like this conversation a lot, the one we're about to have. For a lot of reasons. Now, I teased and said that the Tigers president of baseball ops has taken a shot at a current Mariner. That's one way to see it. Why don't I play you the sound, and then I'll explain what I mean here. So, Tigers president of baseball operations, Scott Harris, held his end-of-year press conference on Tuesday and was asked about his team's inactivity at the trade deadline. The Tigers were heavily criticized for not going after bats, and that because they had been linked to Geno Suarez. I think you can kind of guess who he's talking about here.
Do I regret not pulling the trigger on the deals that we had access to at the deadline? I don't. And I'll tell you why. I think I'm even more confident now than I was then that the deals that we had access to that we passed on would have frustrated our fans more than not doing the deals. It's really tough in my job right now because I can't share the exact deals for obvious reasons, but I can share some details that hopefully are pretty illuminating. I would tell you that the players that were most closely connected to us via the media would have cost either a player on our postseason roster plus additional pieces or one of our top prospects plus additional pieces. In some cases, with those deals that were most closely connected to us, those players that were most closely connected to us, those players, some of them didn't perform at all down the stretch, would have been a free agent in 2 months, and would have cost a player on our postseason roster that actually performed better than the player we acquired and was controllable in the future. So think about that for a second. We could have acquired a player who was going to be a pending free agent on the day of the deadline. We probably would have gotten an A on the trade grades on the day of the deadline and probably would have gotten plenty of praise in the coverage, only to see that player not perform well down the stretch and the player we traded perform better than that player this year and be controllable in the future. I don't regret those deals at all.
Okay, a very, very short, much more obvious summary, assuming he's talking about Geno Suarez.
Said a lot without saying a lot.
Is that, look, we would have had to give up one of our better bullpen arms in order to do this. When we look at Geno in Seattle, it's not like he was raking. Meanwhile, our pitching and our bullpen is kind of what kept us alive because we had one of the worst offenses and our bats completely fell quiet in September. So if we would have traded away this guy in our bullpen, I don't know that we make the playoffs, and I don't feel confident that Geno being here, based on what I saw in August, would have helped us either. So that's what he's saying, and on the one hand, I get it. This is why I like the conversation, and this is why I started by saying that. I like talking about the value of what a trade means, especially when it is not incredibly obvious right now or when that player is not hot right now. Geno is not hot right now, okay? He was not as good with Seattle as he was with Arizona. He has not been the best bat in the postseason. In fact, his bat has been fairly quiet. I still think this trade was important and worth it, but for a very different reason. So I like that part of the conversation, Bump.
Yeah, it's he's able to look at this from the house. He at home chilling. You know, he's got some time to reflect and get his thoughts together and really try to make sense of the season for his fans. And I think that's a big part of his job is say, look, I'm not going to say any names, but you guys can connect the dots. I'm glad we didn't make the move that we made because it would have given up this and that player isn't performing at the level that he was performing at when he was on the table. So, no, I'm completely fine with that. And I'm okay with him talking about Suarez like that because he's not lying about it. But the thing is, his team would have needed Suarez to be that guy. Fortunately for the Mariners, you haven't needed him yet. I think sometime during this last push, you're going to need him to be that. You're going to need him to come through. But because your roster is so deep and everyone's playing at a high level, that's not being amplified. No one's really – now, we get texts and people talking about Suarez needs to do better and all that stuff. But no one's like really zeroed in on Suarez and said, this is a bust. What is he doing? Because I also think that people here in the organization realize – the other things he brings to this team.
Yes.
It's not just about his bat, not just about his glove. That's a big part. You are paid to perform, but when you're not performing and everyone else is, you still bring value to this team, emotional, leader, and all that good stuff. Suarez is still in the dugout celebrating everyone's successes. He's still out there going to the mound and giving his 2 cents to his pitchers or whatnot in those huddles, those situations. That's the value that he's bringing. He's going to have a moment.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have a moment, it's going to be that much harder for this team, but I still think it's in him.
I agree thinking that moment's in him, and I feel like it's heating up a little bit. It's like right on the verge. But even if it's not, even if he doesn't do more than what he's doing right now, to me, this isn't even about Geno the Bat. It's about what the Mariners front office bought themselves by making that trade. We all remember the Kendall Graveman trade. It was shocking. It was disappointing. Players were not happy.
Right.
We started seeing anonymous quotes, right, from players throughout the media. And it wasn't just the Kendall Graveman trade. It didn't start with that, but it certainly didn't end with that. It continued. At a certain point, those comments weren't even anonymous, and you had younger Mariners speaking out. Cal Raleigh speaking openly to media about wanting to spend. JP and Ty France in the clubhouse afterwards saying, yeah, we back what Cal said. You do want to see that. There was not quite a hostility, but I don't think that this front office had convinced players that they believed. And just from the outside looking in, I don't know. And I also think there wasn't, trust isn't the right word, but there was something there that's intangible that you can't buy. No amount of, oh, we put in new hot and cold tubs. Oh, we put in new vending machines. Like, yeah, that's great. Make the facilities better. That's awesome. But there's a certain level of belief I want you to have in me as a player that you need to show me. And in trading for Geno, yeah, they added a bat that can hit a lot of home runs. The Mariners front office, for the first time that I can remember in kind of this stretch of, let's say, 5-6 years, they put it solely on the players' shoulders. We did what we needed to do. We had outside of the Padres adding all those arms, the best deadline. We did the best
for the second year in a row,
and we're doing it in a tight race. We're not in first place in the AL West. We're doing it because we want this season to be worth it for everyone, and we really think we can get this done. You didn't even have to give up a ton. They didn't give up what most of us thought they would need to, but it was also about like what the trade signaled to your clubhouse. And think of the energy and the feeling around this team right now that those players all seem really bought in. I think acquiring Geno is part of that. The story of Geno getting on the plane and surprising everyone and going and hugging them, like the vibes are immaculate.
Yeah. That's and that helps with the chemistry. Team chemistry is huge. You actually like the person that you're playing with. You play for them. You can have these candid conversations where people are holding you accountable. You're holding them accountable. That's all part of building a championship team, other than just having complete talent. I look at the Dodgers, and yes, they have talent, but they really like each other. Like, those dudes will play for each other. I see the same thing when I look into the dugout with these Mariners. So, yeah, big ups to Jerry and Hollander.
Let's say that, like, okay, Geno hasn't performed as great. Who do you point to if you're a player? Like, if you're a player on this team, I think they're going to advance. But let's say they don't. Who can you even be mad at? You can't. This front office did its job. I would have loved to see, like, one more bullpen arm added. But that's if I'm getting nitpicky and just saying the thing that I wish I would have seen. I was blown away by their deadline. I think it made a statement, and it was a statement that you can't just tell players, they need to see it. So
invest in them. They did that.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's on them, and I'm with you, Bump. I think Geno's going to have a moment in this series. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm reading too much into, like, a double that was almost a home run and a hard hit ball and a fly out.
No,
like, I just
you have
right?
to.
Like, you have to start stacking little almosts.
Double. No, you have to.
Yes, and then little almosts become something big.
Exactly.
I think I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling a home run.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Maybe today.
I hope it's today.
Maybe tomorrow. It'll happen. A massive Game 3 against the Blue Jays tonight here in Seattle. First pitch is 4 hours away and some minutes. Hear from Cal Raleigh, who's speaking with reporters next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
This is where the baseball playoffs live.
This team is fired up. The fans here at T-Mobile Park are fired up.
The conversation.
This is the playoffs. The series we've all been talking about and pointing to.
The anticipation.
This is why you watch baseball.
And where you hear your American League West champion Mariners in the postseason.
It is gone! Jorge Polanco!
Seattle Sports playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
With Progressive, you can reach customer service in the way that's easiest for you, by phone, app, or online. We know it would be great if we just magically appeared, but that's more of a genie thing, and we do insurance. But with us, you'd be like, well, it wasn't a genie, but it was great customer service, so that's nice. And sure, you probably would still like the whole 3 wishes thing, so if you meet a genie, you should definitely ask. But when you need us, contact Progressive by phone, app, or online. Just no genies. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
Baseball's postseason is here. Seattle Sports Playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket, 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are hosting the Blue Jays tonight for Game 3 of the ALCS with a 2-0 lead right now in the series. George Kirby on the mound for his third start of the postseason. First pitch at 5:08 p.m. An extended pregame beginning at 2 p.m. with Wyman and Bob.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Cal Raleigh talking to reporters ahead of ALCS Game 3. Let's take a listen.
Cal, you guys went to Toronto the other day. A lot of things were stacked against you guys. Felt like you maybe went in with a little bit of an underdog mentality. Now that you're up 2-0, what's the challenge? What's the process to try to keep that edge, keep that mentality?
I don't think you change anything. You keep executing, keep the game plan the same, and just go out there, kind of in that reverse mentality of, down 0-2, trying to finish this job, and understand that, things can change pretty quickly. So,
go to Ryan on the left.
Cal, what has made George so effective in the postseason? We've seen him kind of struggle at times during the regular season, but in the postseason, he seems to have another gear. What has made him so effective?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a really good job of, really mixing really well. And obviously, I think he's kind of, in a way, kind of hitting his stretch just because of the injury this year, and he's finally found that groove, and he's really been good about locating the sinker to both sides of the plate, which has been huge. So away and in, and then obviously mixing in the rest of the stuff has been a big key, I think.
Stay on the left with Tim.
Cal, I'm wondering, I know right now remembering back probably isn't easy, but 3 years ago you guys at the deadline go out and get Luis. What did that acquisition tell that group when you guys were still kind of young and sort of learning how to win at that point, by the front office going and getting him, and what did that do? What did getting him do for that group?
Yeah, I think that doing something like that, it's one of those things where you can say whatever you want, but the actions speak louder than words, and it kind of excites the room when you're going out there, and because it's the message is clear. We're going for it. We got our team significantly better, and you can look at this year as well, going out and getting Geno and Naylor, and doing things like that. It's exciting, and it really brings that clubhouse together, creates a lot of energy and buzz, and that's what you want heading into the last 2 months of the year.
Go in the middle, Tyler.
Cal, with what you've done personally this season, it's sort of taken your own star to a different level. What have you enjoyed about that, maybe, and how has it changed things for you off the field? Nothing really. Still try to do the same thing every day, pretty much. I don't think really nothing's really changed for me, in my eyes, I guess. So I'm just really enjoying, obviously the success of the team and everything that's been going on. I think the last month was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and enjoying that with those guys, and kind of coming together there at the end was a lot of good memories, and trying to keep doing that right now. So. And just one other one about the Mariners and staying here and committing. What about their vision did you finally sold you on it? Like the wanting to stay here and see this thing out. What made you trust?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. Obviously sitting down with Jerry, Justin, John, and just talking things through and understanding, I think first things first, we got to go out there and execute, and we got to put our best foot forward, and that's really all we can do every day. And then after that, we've seen, things come together, looking at like what he's just said with Luis and Naylor and Geno this year and things like that, putting us in good positions, and also, just,
kind of falling in love with this place and, the fans and the city and really kind of finding a home here. So it's kind of, I'd say those kind of the things that kind of brought me to that conclusion.
We'll go in the middle, JP.
Thanks, Cal. 2004 is a long time ago, but I know you're a Red Sox fan growing up and watching the team that year. What are your memories of what that team meant? Because obviously, basically for all their fans, they had never seen that team win the World Series. And, of course, you're trying to do something that's never been done in this city. So when you look back, what was it like as a young fan back in 04?
Yeah, it was, it was crazy. Obviously the year before, or I think it was the year before, Wakefield and giving up the home run to Boone. I remember how devastating that was and how close. And obviously the next year, then be able to do that and, coming back like that was crazy. So I was obviously very lucky. I didn't have to go through all the suffering that, fans did for many years. But you see what it does to an organization and a city and how important that was. And that's just something that was amazing. I mean, I thought it was awesome. And obviously now you're looking back, 20 something years, you're seeing all these documentaries coming out and how important that was. And how it really kind of bolstered, the next couple championships for him come years after that. So it means a lot. And it's just, it kind of gives you that little extra gear, a little extra edge, as far as, we're doing this for something more than just ourselves or just this team. We're doing it for fans and people here to remember, something for a long time.
Do you have a specific recollection of watching particular games during that journey at whether it was at a relative's house, your own house, who you were watching it with, whether it was the Game 4 against the Yankees or Game 7 or when they eventually won?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the one that really sticks out was the Aaron Boone home run. That was really devastating. I remember I was on my living room floor. I was just sitting there watching with my dad. It was obviously late, and that one was kind of crushing. So that one was, unfortunately, that's the one that sticks out of all of them. But I also remember kind of very vividly the Johnny Damon home runs and how much that game was, and it kind of got things going. So I believe it two. That one was it Game 7? Was it 6 or 7? Yeah, one of those. So those are the ones that really stuck out to me. So. That was, and then it was crazy, obviously how big the CS was, and then the World Series they won, was it 4-0 to the Cardinals, so they almost just, steamrolled it.
Go to Ryan in the front.
Cal, you were the Platinum Glove winner last year. The Gold Glove nominees came out today. You weren't on it. Did you think you were worse defensively this year? And then I got a second question as well.
I mean, a lot of that is based off of numbers and analytics. So I think this year with the new strike zone, it kind of changed a lot. You saw it early on, and obviously that big article came out, and they mentioned they shrunk the zone for the umpires, or at least the shadow zone of what can and can't be called, down from 2 to 0.75. So I'd say that was a big factor early on, but right now I'm not crazy looking into it. We obviously got bigger things ahead of us, so that's something maybe I'll address in the off season, take a look at something maybe I could do better, or kind of dive a little deeper into that.
Also, we mentioned about the Bryce mound visit, and he said he doesn't remember what you said. And then we asked Logan, and Logan said that you come out there oftentimes, put your glove up to your mouth, but just stare at him. Is this true? And what is your philosophy on mound visits?
Everyone's different. I mean, a lot of the time, you go out there and you just want to give the guys a breath. So, you don't want to sound like dad going out there every single time saying the same thing, because then, it starts to get repetitive and you're not getting your point across. So, sometimes you are just going out there, giving them a breath, and you don't want them to be rolling their eyes, hearing the same cliche thing every time. So, a lot of times I'll go out there, give them a breather, and then, like I said, a lot of times you're just trying to take as much time, because everything's clocked now with time, and you're trying to give them the most amount of, time to recuperate, recover, catch a breath, and then, sometimes it's a very simple message at the end before I leave, or, most of the time they know what to do. They already know what I'm going to say, or what, he's usually coming after a walk, so. Yeah. No, I mean he's definitely. I mean he's very high effort with his delivery. So a lot of times we do need to just go out there and just give him a breather. So it's all situation dependent, though. You know, is there people on base? Is there nobody on base? Do you have a long at bat before? You know, is it a hot day out? Is it, you know, obviously we're not dealing with that too much right now, but a lot of those factors come into play. Do we have a lot of mound visits to play with? You know, sometimes when you use them up early in the game, you got to be a little more smart about it versus, you know, if we're cruising through 5 and you can afford to use one in the 6th and go take it, you know, better safe than sorry.
We'll go to Mike in the front.
Cal, we hear about George, the big game competitor, and what he did, you know, 3 years ago in the ALDS, what he's done now for this year, whether it's preparation or mentality, what sticks out to you as far as the biggest difference for him in big games like these?
Yeah, I think you've seen it a lot with a lot of our guys that on the mound. You know, it seems like when the bright lights come on, they're not shying away from the spotlight. So, you know, you always feel if you can look back to so many games. You can look back to the Astros game a couple of years ago when George started that one. I believe it was King Felix night when we played the Orioles a couple of years ago. He pitched a full 9 innings and we didn't get any runs. So, but you know, he went a full 9 innings and was unbelievable with the packed house that night. So, you know, he doesn't shy away from it. He really, you know, accepts that and takes the challenge on, and he you know, kind of busts through in a way and uses that, you know, adrenaline and focus to make a really good outing usually. So,
go to the second row, Aaron.
Cal, Mitch said the other night that he was going to say something. Has he addressed the team or just done it on an individual basis about the situation he was in 2 years ago, going on the road, winning the first 2 games and having to come home and then losing the next 3 and then having to go back out there and just kind of keeping that same mentality, given that anything can happen in a series like this?
Yeah, I mean, we understand, you know, obviously we put ourselves in a good spot, but job's not finished. And I think we've done a good job of that so far this year. All the way starting back to when we did clinch, you know, we weren't satisfied with just making the playoffs. We wanted to finish this thing off and get the division, and then, you know, fast forward to the Tiger series, you know, just trying to keep that focus, and, you know, whether we go down or go up, you know, trying to keep the same level of consistency and focus. And you know, like I said, we want to try to finish this thing out here and you know, take care of business that way. You know, we're not giving them any kind of room to breathe.
Go to Taryn.
Cal, Josh talked a couple weeks ago now about getting the big inning, the kind of the inning that you guys had a lot of during the last month of the season. Game 2, you guys had that. With you guys approaching game by game with looking at just what's in front of you mentality, what's the key for you guys to continue on the momentum of what you had in the previous game while also staying in the moment and not trying to do too much or go out of what the game is presenting you at that given time?
Yeah, I think, you know, kind of what you mentioned with big innings, you know, those are huge in the postseason. You know, putting up crooked numbers can really, you know, be a huge thing especially with, you know, how much shorter pitchers' leashes are and getting to bullpens and getting to see guys extra time. So, you know, crooked numbers are huge. And then as far as like the mentality and kind of the approach, kind of just do the same thing, you know. Obviously, we're gonna be home these next 3 games, and we know it's gonna be loud, and it's just gonna be about keeping the heart rate down and not trying to do too much, kind of like we did in Toronto. So, you know, in postseason, you're always gonna be a little more amped up, and heart rate's gonna be going a little more. So it's more about just slowing the game down, trying to take a deep breath here and there, and understanding that, you know, we're gonna have some tough games and tough moments, and trying to slow things down.
Go to Shannon in front.
Cal, this hasn't been a normal season for George this year. He started on the IL. It took him a little while to really get into what he does, and he seemed to be battling things a little bit trying to do that. What did you see from him in getting back to where he is doing what he is doing right now?
Yeah, I think he, you know, I think kind of there early on, his command wasn't quite there that we've seen from old George. You know, we talk about a guy that's up there with, these crazy names like Greg Maddux as far as how well he can locate. And early on, he was maybe not quite having that same kind of feel. He was throwing a few more walks out there than we're used to seeing. So, but, now you're kind of seeing he's commanding to both sides of the plate, kind of like we've seen in the past, east, west, north, south. And I think that kind of just grew with confidence and building up a little bit and, getting that feel back. And it seems like he's kind of, like I said, with him kind of now getting some starts under his belt and going a little deeper into games. And I think you're starting to see that feel back. And like I said, that's the kind of the thing that popped to me was like, all right, that command's there now. We're seeing it to both sides and lefties and righties as well.
We'll go to Jordan on the left.
Cal, the rotation's been pretty similar for a few years now, but there's been a lot of turnover in the bullpen besides Brash and Munoz. What stands out about this bullpen right now, and what's it been like watching them kind of gel at the right moment right now?
Yeah, they've been unbelievable. I mean, I can't really say enough about those guys and how well they've done, and not only that, just how much they've been asked to do as far as covering multiple innings, back-to-back days, short rest, et cetera. You can go on and on. And, I look at guys like, Bizzardo and Vargas the other night. Those are huge innings that they covered. And, obviously, Brash and Mooney are going to get the bulk of that just because, how great they've been and deservingly so. But like I said, Bizzardo, Gabe Spire, they've been awesome for us all year and really bridged that gap. That's helped a lot. And they've been great. They've been filling it up. They've been mixing. They've been, kind of hitting their spots really well. And those are huge, especially this time of year.
Go to Hazel.
Cal, in speaking to Ty France, he told me that he noticed a shift in your mentality when you returned to the team from getting optioned in 2022. He said that he thought you had a lot more confidence in yourself and belief that you belonged in the major leagues. How accurate is that? And do you think that point of your career has factored into your success today?
Yeah, I think a lot of, I think looking back, you never want to be optioned and you never want to fail like that, but I think that was honestly the best thing for me at the time. And, I learned a lot from that, and it was a lot shorter than it originally was supposed to be with Tom Murphy getting hurt, 7 games into that. But coming back, I learned a lot just about, not physically, not, about the swing or whatever, but it was a lot mentally and, kind of like that confidence he was talking about and understanding, kind of the ins and outs of it and what I had to do to learn how to stick here and to survive and to end up, ultimately trying to thrive in this game. And, it's I learned a lot of lessons, and it wasn't just that. It took a couple more weeks as well. But, like I said, I look back and I kind of, am thankful for what happened there. So
go to Tyler in the middle.
Cal, with so many catchers, the position is a big part of their identity. Like, they just love it. What do you love about the position you play?
I grew up around the game. My dad was a catcher. He was a coach, and I was kind of, always intrigued by the position, and it was always, in my bag. I was always catching, not all the time. I was doing it as I was growing up, here and there, and then ultimately, kind of found my niche, and that was what I wanted to do. And when I got to college, started doing it full time. So I just love the ins and outs of it. I've said it before, the kind of mental side of it, calling a game, working with pitchers, reading hitters, understanding situations, kind of trying to lead the team out there in a way. And obviously they're all looking at you and leading staff. So I think, once I started doing that more, as I grew up through high school and stuff, and you got those opportunities to do stuff like that, it was kind of where I kind of fell in love with it.
Go 2 more real quick. One, David in the back corner.
Hey, Cal, JP mentioned the 04 Red Sox. That team certainly was aware of the history they were trying to overcome and kind of embraced it. How does the clubhouse kind of take on what you guys are trying to do, and how aware is the team of the history of the franchise?
Yeah, we understand, and we live in a world today where everything, is emphasized with, media, social media, and you can't really go anywhere around here without hearing that. So I think it's one of those things where you embrace it, right? You don't shy away from it. I think in a way you're grateful for, where you're at and very happy, but at the same time you're still hungry because you're like, all right, we can do something that's never been done before here. This is, more than just about me. It's about the guys in that room. It's about getting this, chance, this opportunity, and looking at it like that, not like a burden. Like it's something that we have to do. It's something that is fun, something that is, bringing joy to the guys in the clubhouse, and as well as, the fans in the city. So, and you're feeling it. You feel it. When you're on the field, you feel it when you walk out there, and it's 20, 30 minutes before a game and you can't see an empty seat. So it's you can just, like I said, it's something you can sense and understand, how much it means to the city and the fans, and it's a lot of fun.
Wrap up with JP in the middle.
Cal, you're one of 37 people born in North Carolina to play in the big leagues this year, which is a pretty significant number on a per capita basis, certainly. For those who might not be as familiar with it, how do you describe the baseball culture in North Carolina and maybe the mentors that you had growing up in your home state?
Yeah, I didn't know it was 37. That's pretty cool. I think the South in general, obviously, it's a little warmer down there, so you're getting more kids that play, and you can play more year-round. Obviously, it's no Florida or California, Texas maybe, but the baseball there is pretty good. There's a lot of colleges there. I think that helps a lot. I think that's the thing in the South is there's maybe not as many pro sports teams, but there's a lot of colleges, and people they look at people and teams and players that are on those teams, and they grow up idolizing them. So to me, that's what I was. I loved college baseball. I was watching college baseball, so like I said, it's very competitive down there. And, I remember watching, Dustin Ackley, Kyle Seager, when I was the bat boy, my dad was playing their teams, guys at Clemson, Tyler Colvin, those are kind of some older names, but those are the guys that you kind of grow up watching how good they were in college. And then obviously when I got here, Kyle Seager made that connection, and was kind of really crazy that came together. So, it's, like I said, it's very competitive down there, and very, a lot of fun growing up there playing baseball.
All right, Cal, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Game 3 of the ALCS. Mariners pennant push starts at 2 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. Pregame at 4 p.m. First pitch at 5:08 p.m. Coming up next, is it time for us all to forgive A-Rod?
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
How special was that game, was that win on Friday night over Detroit?
Just so awesome. Every city has those defining games for the franchises they root for, and it's even better knowing what came next. Go on the road and absolutely destroy them for 2 days.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Start having fun. Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Has it been hot in your house this summer? Maybe worried about the cold coming in this fall and into the winter? Might be because your insulation's just not up to snuff. That was my problem, Mike Salk here, and that's why I called Crawl Pros. They came out, they did a corner-to-corner inspection of my crawl space and attic, and they fixed that problem once and for all. If your home has any damaged insulation or no insulation in the attic or crawl space, you're bleeding money every month to heat and cool your home, but you don't have to. And even better, if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%, but you got to act now. Many of these rebates are ending at the end of this year, including the federal incentives. Let Crawl Pros come out and properly insulate your home before the cooler fall weather comes in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here with Luke Wilson, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
Thanks, Rick. Just like October baseball, Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington is stepping up to the plate. Mention Go Seattle when you schedule, and you'll score 15% off, plus 12 months with no payments and no interest. This is your chance to swing big. This offer won't be around for extra innings.
Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and it's time to make the final push to the end of the year. Do you want to lose weight, improve your health, and have more energy? We have a proven system and a team of health coaches that have helped over 4,000 people in Washington lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, just teaching you how to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long-term. Visit EastsideWeightLossClinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Yeah, it's Mike Salk here. And just like writing that essay back in high school or maybe in college, starting, that can be the hardest part. Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic makes it as easy as possible. They helped me lose 35 pounds in just 60 days. A no-pressure, free 15-minute phone consultation. See if it's right for you. And if it is, you got nothing to lose but the weight itself.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at EastsideWeightLossClinic.com. That's EastsideWeightLossClinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Look, and listen. I know a lot of people are still upset at A-Rod. Okay? That hate goes deep.
It does.
But
I see it every day.
I think he seems like a nice guy.
Hear me out.
Hear me out. This is the second interview I've heard with him on with Brock and Salk. Not only did that endear me to him, he's also been picking the Mariners pretty consistently through both playoff series.
He knows what he's doing.
Look, and it's working, okay? Maybe I'm a fool, but it is working on me. He is selling me, and I'm buying stock right now. Maybe not stock, but I'm finding myself being like, he's on our side.
Changed man.
Maybe he is. Let's take a listen to some of what he had to say with Brock and Salk this morning. First, on where he thinks his confidence in the Mariners come from.
It's such a strange thing, as an alum from my Mariners, and I love the Mariners, love the fans, love that stadium. I'm having to basically be the voice of Seattle to our national audience and help them understand that when you play in Seattle, even though Griffey and myself and Edgar, we had such a great group, led by Lou Piniella, of course, and Randy Johnson, Dan Wilson. I mean, we were on national TV as much as anybody, like we were in a big market. But, there's a chip on the shoulder, and I've been explaining to the national audience that, baseball's king, especially when you have a team like this one that is so fun to watch and so exciting. And it's Amazon, it's Starbucks, and it's the Mariners. So far I'm 2-0. Hopefully it continues with the mojo for Seattle.
You know what did make his point, though? The ratings for that series. And the ratings for the playoff in general. Obviously, for the postseason in general, the Mariners aren't entirely responsible for that, and I get it. But this wasn't about, look at this, the Dodgers facing off in ALCS, so many ratings. This was a Mariners-Blue Jays series that was the most watched, a Mariners-Tigers series that was the most watched in, 10 years?
14, I think.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't know if baseball's king, though. I still think NFL is king. The ratings are just... ridiculous.
Yeah.
But in this city.
Well, and what's interesting, too, is that Major League Baseball, just that Game 5, outrated, I believe it was Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Well, and I feel like what he's also pointing to is, that there is...
I think he's talking about the culture.
Yes, that there's a culture here that a national audience doesn't get or understand.
They don't know about it.
No.
Because you haven't been exposed to it like that. But the reason why you haven't been exposed is because you haven't had a team like this, or like a team in the last 3 or 4 years, or players like Julio on this team, a guy like Cal, a rotation like what you have now. They're set up for people to have national interest. Me growing up in California, I knew about the Mariners because they were nice on World Series baseball on Sega Saturn, and then Griffey, going on his run. Seattle's not a place where the eyes and just automatically gravitate to. Let me check and see what's going on in Seattle. As far as baseball, I think football people kind of checking on it.
For sure.
Football, there's less opportunities for your team to be out there. So football heads kind of checking on everybody. I check in on the Cleveland Browns. I have nothing to do with the Browns. I think baseball is a bit different, but I think you finally got a cast of players over here to where people can be genuinely interested.
All right, well, let's talk about tonight's game. Here's what A-Rod said.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, these guys are great players. They're very well managed. They have a blue-collar approach, and they're coming out swinging, and they're going to be more focused, and they're going to be away from home. No more fanfare. I think you have to be able to sustain and absorb that punch, but it's coming.
I really should have prefaced that he's talking about the Blue Jays here because it sounds like laying it on thick for the Mariners. What he's warning is, look, Toronto's lineup has a lot of slug, and their back is against the wall, but they're a really good team. And, there is kind of a tension surrounding this team of knowing they have the ability to break out offensively and wondering when that will happen. And what's happening is Seattle stretching the rubber band of our bullpen's holding off these runs. But will there be a game where it snaps and these bats take off, and can Seattle keep pace, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're just looking at postseason stats, right, you narrow down to the 4 teams that remain. Blue Jays have just as many home runs as the Mariners do. They've batted in more runs than the Mariners. They have pop, and they have ability over there. So I think A-Rod's just hey, don't sleep on these dudes. You have taken the first 2 games. no one expected you to take the first 2 games, but there's enough talent over there to make this this third game really interesting. But he also reinforces that the Mariners have a dang good team too.
He does think they have a very, very good team and that they could advance to a World Series. Here are his keys for success.
Well, I think is the first 3 innings are going to be vital for the Mariners because we're going to see, how the Mariners can deal with success. And with the Blue Jays, we're going to see how they deal with some, adversity in the first couple of innings. And it remains the same thing it always has for over 100 years. You got to pitch, you got to defend, you got to have timely hitting. And when you get those runners at second, if you don't want to bunt, you better get them over to third base because you don't want the difference of going to the World Series or not because you couldn't advance the runner 90 feet. And they got away with that in Game 5. But against a team like Toronto, I don't think they'll be able to get away with that.
He had exactly that sentiment on the broadcast after the game. I know that, anyone watching that clearly saw it, where he was like, if you play like this against the Blue Jays, you are going to go to Cancun. And I don't, even though they've taken 2, I think fundamentally his point is right in that you have to push through those good teams win this moments. Like, you have to be that team.
Yeah, you have to do the little things.
Yeah, you can't leave runners stranded constantly.
Advance them. And that RISP has been an issue at times for this team. But I think the way they're playing, they're more capable of doing it. We've seen several times, was it this series or last series, they're trying to bunt them over. I mean, Randy got hit in the hand trying to advance a run. I think JP tried as well. So they're mixing it up as well. And it's situational baseball, right? That's what you have to excel at. So you have your runner at second. You got to advance them. You have a runner on third, sac fly, Mitch, Naylor. They've shown that they can do it, but it's a long haul. You got to do it every single game.
Let's talk about the role of the crowd here.
I mean, look, I was there, and I love playing at home. I love the fans. It really is the 10th man and an incredible home field advantage. And don't forget, guys, that whoever's usually flying to Seattle is going to be on a flight for at least 3 hours. And that becomes I know that when I was there for 7 years, it was a huge competitive advantage for us. Now you just got to own your home field and protect it.
So you got to own your home field and protect it. I've seen a couple people wondering how many Blue Jays fans will show up because in regular season games, look, they do tend to flock here. No pun intended. I think that's going to be a bit different in the postseason, though. And also, Blue Jays fans are going to travel and, take in the city and go on a trip during a random game in May, but are you going to see quite that turnout at a playoff game? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I hope not.
And again, there will be Blue Jays fans, but I don't think they will travel as well because more Mariners fans are going, guys.
Yeah.
They
don't want to miss this.
I think this is fundamentally different.
It's harder to plan a trip to a playoff game than it would be a regular season game because months in advance when that regular season game is going to happen. We didn't know this was going to be the ALCS up until Friday of last week?
Yeah.
Hard to plan with just a few days.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I keep seeing a lot of Blue Jays fans, and yes, I'm talking about random people on Twitter, but I keep seeing a lot of fans being like, oh, it's going to be basically a home game for us. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think so. Frankly, that was the best home crowd that I saw. There's some bias here, but the best home crowd I saw in the divisional series. Detroit's not there.
People don't want to miss this.
No.
The Seattle fans, they've been waiting for this. You know how many crying videos or reels on Instagram I've seen of just Mariners fans overwhelmed with this? No, they're going to hold on to those tickets.
Someone said one outlet reporting Toronto area is buying up to 17% of tickets so far. First of all, I never really trust those because y'all remember for the 49ers Seahawks game, they said that over
50.
Half the crowd would be 49ers fans, and that wasn't. No.
I give them 20.
Maybe 20. And that's the thing, too. These are geographically close teams when you're doing there's a lot of people from California and Seattle. So with those Seahawks games, maybe not the Rams as much, but certainly the 49ers are going to be rolling deep. Same when the Broncos come here. There's a lot of Broncos fans. I just don't. There will be Blue Jays fans there. I think pretending that it's going to be some kind of road home field advantage for Toronto is doing too much. Yeah. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think I will. I never think I am.
Of course not.
I never have been.
Of course you haven't.
At least I don't remember a time. I don't think so. Your lineup, same as always. Arozarena, Raleigh, Rodriguez, Polanco, Naylor, Suarez, Canzone, your DH, Robles, Crawford, Kirby on the mound, 5:08 p.m. first pitch. Coming up next, got a question on your mind, sports, non-sports. It doesn't matter. We're ready to answer, so text it now. 866-979-3776. What I need to know coming your way next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 down. 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car, but what about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible, but how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning, because once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. Seriously, they've already given back over $800,000 to their customers. It's such a great offer, and I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Okay, but how are they able to do it? It's not a consignment. You get paid for your car right away. Wayscar Ford pays you right up front. They buy your car for fair market value. No more insurance, no more maintenance, no more storage. Then they pay you half the profit when they resell your car. It's that easy. Get the most money possible for your old car at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn, and let them do the work. WayscarFord.com.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new Leak Armor installed windows through October. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Home of your American League West Division champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, it's Tim Hunter, former Seattle radio goofball here with 2 words that aren't funny. Prostate cancer. Get your annual checkup. Keep an eye on that PSA number. And if you hear those 2 words like I did, talk to the folks at Swedish Cyberknife. 5 treatments, minimally invasive and technologically advanced over the other options. If you were a friend, and I consider you one, I'd highly recommend Swedish Cyberknife. We are so lucky to have them right here in town. Do your research, but definitely visit swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
Dave Wyman here, and we've been fortunate to hear from 2 Swedish Cyberknife patients this year, Andy Ryder and Tim Hunter. Both heard about Cyberknife from our radio ads and completed successful treatment, raving about their experiences. Tim was impressed that treatment only took 5 days. Andy hosted a large international delegation the week after his treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife here in Seattle. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I Need to Know. I remember watching a 1990 Seahawks-Chiefs game on a TV at a downtown Seattle department store. What's the weirdest place you've watched a game? I like that question.
Weirdest place?
I already have my answer.
What is it?
Outside of an O'Reilly Auto Parts on my phone.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, for the Pac-12 championship game between Washington and Oregon, I, at halftime, ran to Target, and then my car broke down in the parking lot. I could not leave the parking garage, so I had to have it, that someone had to jump the car, and then I drove straight to an O'Reilly to have, who cares? Anyways, so while they're working on my car, me, my sister, and 3 employees are all huddled around my phone watching the final 10 minutes of the game. So we were there for 30 minutes. And then we all started cheering, and this man across the street said, "Did they win?" And we said, "Yeah." And he said, "Go Dogs."
I don't think I've ever watched in a weird place. I'm at a house, at a bar.
No, it's got to be random. It's got to be you're watching with someone where you're like, how did I end up watching with this person?
Maybe on a flight when they used to have TVs on the back of the
and then for 3 hours, you were best friends with a random dude in 12B.
Yeah, it's too deep. More like 6, 7.
When the Seahawks won their first NFC championship, it was 2005, and I was on a flight during the game, and this flight did not have TVs in the monitors, but we were able to convince the flight crew to put the radio call in the little armrest headset.
Yeah,
so you put your headphones in there. This is
That's
a long
old
time
school,
ago.
yeah.
20 years ago. So we're listening to the game during the flight, and then the game's not over, but the Seahawks had pretty much wrapped it up early that day. So the flight lands, and then we were able to watch the rest of the game on a TV monitor in SeaTac Airport.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that moment. Yeah.
Was there an ashtray in the armrest?
I think so. It was an old school. Yeah.
More than one person has said, "Okay, I am guilty of watching football at church on a Sunday. Shame on you." I just like the idea of being yes, and then everyone looks and you're like,
Hallelujah.
Spirit. I know that's right. What I need to know. Someone said, I've watched the Super Bowl at Costco, and then they said a couple times.
Where they had the big TVs. You just kind of post up and watch.
What's more annoying? What's more annoying? A loud open mouth eater or someone who laughs very loudly, including at things that aren't even funny?
Loud open mouth eater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because sometimes the loud laugher, it's shocking, and then that's kind of you just accept them for who they are.
Yeah.
I'm a frequent laugher. I have a lot of annoying habits. I laugh talk sometimes when I'm nervous, for sure. I don't know why I do it. I also laugh at my own jokes.
I laugh at my
all the time.
I'll crack myself up to tears.
I will be driving and be say something out loud and be, that's hilarious. What I need to know. Is Humpy going back to a losing streak in this series, or has he finally gotten over the hump?
I feel like he has to win. You gotta keep.
People are really
the
torn
vibe.
here.
You gotta keep the vibe going. You gotta keep it. I
Matt?
think he has to win.
Curtis?
I think
he can't win.
I think he goes back to losing.
What?
No, listen.
That is a break glass in case of emergency move.
Yeah, you can't, like, I need you to think of it like in Cinderella, the fairy godmother comes and, turns a pumpkin into a carriage and gives her a free dress. And it's like, okay, cool. But suddenly if you have a fairy godmother that gives you everything all the time, you're just kind of a Nepo baby. So what it was you have this magic moment once, and then they're like, and now you can go, like, I'm lifting you, and now you can do this on your own. You can marry for money, Cinderella. I was going to say, and she didn't really make it on her own. But still, she sure did get there. And I think maybe it's Humpy being like, you've got this, Mariners. You don't need me anymore.
I just don't like change.
Humpy winning. Oh, so you want him
like
to.
Like they won last time and he won. So do it again so we can win.
I don't think he can win again. I think the whole point is that, like, that was the magic moment. And now the Mariners need to know that they don't need Humpy for this.
I guess. I'll defer to you guys, man.
Someone said the Mariners should never run it again.
No, that's no fun.
I mean, they're selling merch about it. Like, you got to run it. It would not be the same.
No, they have to. Most anticipated, certainly salmon race, but like game activity that I can remember. There's a metaphor that's going to be made with it. There's a lot on the shoulders of the marketing person who's deciding who wins tonight. What I need to know. Let's see. Not sure when the segment comes up, so they sent this in earlier. Does Geno Suarez batting stance drive anyone else crazy? It seems like there's way too much room for inconsistency, moving from his just loitering around home plate, don't mind me stance to pre-swing while the ball is on its way.
No, don't change anything. He hit, 49 bombs that way.
He is who he is.
Yeah, you can't really. I've never been bothered by it. I think Josh Naylor's batting stance is my favorite. It's straight up. Yeah, I just respect
leaning back a little bit.
It's very like a Genty in the backfield, kind of like, all right, ready when you are. Let's do this. 866-979-3776. Someone said that Humpy can't lose again until next season. I don't know. I think you set weird precedents, though. So now if Humpy loses again, suddenly the Mariners are going to lose. And then if Humpy wins and the Mariners don't win, the magic is in it happening
can start all
once.
over. Then it's a clean slate.
I don't know, man. I'm almost more nervous about what Humpy does than what happens with the Mariners tonight. Is A.J. Barner a top 10 tight end right now? I mean, probably in touchdowns.
Maybe. I think stat-wise, he probably is.
He's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Four touchdowns?
4 tutties, yeah.
Yeah. Yardage, he's climbing up. I mean, he hasn't been a consistent target, but I think certainly will be. Now, he's a veteran, but are you surprised we haven't seen more of Arroyo?
No.
Why not?
Because of Barner. I mean, it's rare you have 2 tight ends eating like that. I think Arroyo he's developing.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be just fine.
What can we expect from the bottom of the Mariners lineup tonight? Canzone, Robles, Crawford.
Now, those are the guys, minus Canzone, those are the guys who just need to slap the base, Just get on out in the play, get on base, let the top of the order drive you in. Except for Canzone, you swing for the dang fences.
I'd love to see Robles get an RBI or just have a good AB.
Get on.
Yeah.
Just get on. That's your job. Get on.
Wyman and Bob coming your way next on your home for the Mariners in the American League Championship Series. Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
2 down, 2 to go.
And the Mariners extend the lead back at the wall, and it's gone! Jorge Polanco, Mr. October!
The Mariners go for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the ALCS at T-Mobile. First pitch at 5:08.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
The fall, well, it's a great time to reset your workouts on new stuff, and Top Fitness has some great deals going on right now. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you've heard me talk about working out in your home gym. It's the best. From flooring to everything that goes in that gym, like treadmills, ellipticals, and strength training systems, well, Top Fitness provides it all. Top Fitness represents the very best brands available, like Washington's own Precor, yes, the company that created the elliptical, and Inspire Fitness, the leader in strength training machines, along with so many others. Give Top Fitness your room dimensions right now, and you know what? They'll do the rest. They'll do a complete fitness room design. And right now, get 0% interest financing. Mention you heard it from me and receive an additional $100 off any new treadmill or home gym. It's no secret that everyone, from personal trainers to professional athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit them online at topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
At Bible Law Group, we understand when your legal problems hit biblical levels. That's why you can't wait 20 years to make the playoffs. You need help in court now. With James Bible and his team by your side, don't panic when the giants you're facing seem 10 feet tall, or when you feel trapped in a lion's den of litigation. At Bible Law Group, we've secured over $40 million in settlements for our clients, and we're ready to fight for you. When your legal problems are biblical, contact Bible Law and let our talented team get to work. No matter the case, find us at BibleLawGroup.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through October 19th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the